20 cubic meters per day. Number 2, the raw water transmission pipeline to Lokichar oil field, which is 105 kilometers away from the dam, with a design supply capacity of approximately 60,534 meter cubic of water per day. A water treatment facility designed to achieve a treatment capacity of approximately 62,000 meters cubic also per day at a rating. Number D, a combined treatment water transmission pipeline of 62,000 comprising of 35,000 cubic meters a day to serve a Lodwar municipality and 26,000 cubic a day to a designated 15 communities along the corridor. The community water offtake points to be determined at the detailed design stage, Honorable Speaker. The irrigation water abstractions from Tsakwe Dam to support a large-scale irrigation development in West Pokot and the adjacent Turkana regions. The cost of the project, Honorable Speaker, is 40.3 billion, which has been broken down as below. Component 1, Honorable Speaker, is integrated in the works, which is about 2.2 billion. And this one is a siphon system of 2 diameter and a tunnel of 1.1 kilometer with a pipeline of 3.6. The second component, Honorable Speaker, is a raw water pipeline to Lokichar. There is also some associated works which cost about 7.1 billion. And then the third component, Honorable Speaker, is the water treatment plan and associated works, which costs about 22.1 billion, Honorable Speaker. And the figures are provided. I've given a copy to Honorable Kasiwai. And the other members. On the irrigation component, Honorable Speaker, phase 1, about 1 billion allocated for 2026-2027 budget to irrigate about 1,000 acres downstream of Tsakwe Dam. Number 2 is 1 billion to expand Weiwei from the current 600 to 1,500 acres and Muruny irrigation scheme from 700 to 1,500 in West Pokot.
Order, the Honorable Kangogo. Did you just say that there's 1 billion allocated in the next financial year?
2026-2027.
How is that allocated?
In the budget policy statement from the Ministry of Work, that's what is given, Honorable Speaker. So, and then another 1 billion, Honorable Speaker, for rehabilitation of existing 52 schemes along the Takwel River, covering 19,000 acres in Turkana County. Phase 2, Honorable Speaker, which is 7.8 billion, to develop irrigation covering 10,000 acres, that is commercial investment, and the 2.6 billion to develop a Sigor Dam and irrigation area of 2,000 acres. The development of sustainable irrigation system in Takwel and West Pokot will require a collaborative approach to address the mentioned challenges as follows. Number 1, the conflict of grazing will be addressed by introduction of specific fodder production zones targeting a high-yielding fodder crops to be used during the dry season. Number 2 is the development of comprehensive environmental management plan by the project component. Honorable Speaker, question number 2 is a report detailing the specific communities in West Pokot County that will benefit from the treated water transmission system, including the number of offtake points and the volumetric allocation guaranteed to the residents of West Pokot to support domestic water. Honorable Speaker, the project has been structured around 3 integrated components with integrated bulk water supply system with an overall design capacity of approximately 407 cubic meters per day. Number 1, the first component relates to the abstraction and transmission of raw water from Takwel Dam to Lokichar oil fields through the intake works, pumping facilities, rising main and the balancing tank. With component is designed to supply approximately 16,000 cubic a day to support oil production to produce a reliance on sustainable groundwater abstractions. Number 2, the second component entails the treatment of abstracted water and the transmission of treated water to Lotwa municipality and the designated community offtake points along the corridor. It comprises of water treatment facilities, transmission mains, storage reservoirs, and break pressure tanks. Number 3, Honorable Speaker, the third component entails irrigation, water abstractions from the Takwel Dam to support the large-scale irrigation component, Honorable Speaker, as indicated. And the specific areas in West Pokot, Honorable Speaker, includes the downstream irrigation development of 1,000 acres to utilize the water discharge after electricity generation. This will cover Riting Primary School and Takwel Center and the neighboring villages. Number 2, in West Pokot is a Sikor Dam in West Pokot to irrigate additional 1,500 acres in Sikor, Weiwei, and supply of water to Tot Township. Number 3 is the Sioi Murung Dam in West Pokot to irrigate 1,500 acres and supply domestic water to adjacent communities, which include Karas, Kapenguria, and Sioi. Further mapping of beneficiaries will be undertaken at design stage, Honorable Speaker. The last one. The last question, Honorable Speaker, by the Honorable Moroto was the measures put in place by the Ministry of Water, Sanitation and Irrigation to ensure West Pokot, as a primary source of water, receives its proportional share from the project in terms of irrigation, acreage, water abstractions, and associated infrastructure development. Honorable Speaker, the Ministry has put in place a range of safeguards to ensure that increased abstractions under the field development plan does not compromise water security to host communities or neighboring counties. These safeguards include application of adaptive abstraction rules linked to a dam water levels, integrated dam operational planning in coordination with the power sector, and the provision of adequate balancing and storage infrastructure to manage demand variability and protect the domestic and community water supplies. Since the commissioning of the dam in 1980, it has remained underutilized, causing heavy flooding in the neighboring communities, displacing and destroying schools and homes. For this reason, Honorable Speaker, the project seeks to address these problems through sustainable utilization of the excess water. The Ministry is currently undertaking studies and designs for additional water and irrigation projects within the project host communities to ensure adequate provision of water. Among the key projects the Ministry has prioritized include Sikor Dam in West Pokot, Sioi Murung in West Pokot, and Lowat Dam in Turkana. Further to this, Honorable Speaker, the Ministry is working in hand with the Kenyan to also establish a recharge capacity of the dam to ensure a sustainable abstraction of water. Honorable Speaker, I submit.
Thank you, Honorable Siwai.
Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the Chair for the response. However, for question 3, which is the main concern of the Honorable Member for Kapenguria, is the benefits from the Takwel. That is, the member wanted to know how his community, that is Kapenguria constituency, would benefit from the water from Takwel Dam, because the chair has gone around to mention other dams outside the concern, that is the Takwel. He's talking about Murung Dam, which is not even complete as we speak. It's only 85% complete. So the member wanted to know the benefits this community will get from Takwel Dam. So I think the question has not been answered well. So we still, I want to suggest that the chair goes back to do more research on this, because the community, that is Kapenguria constituents, still want to know how that Takwel Dam is going to benefit them directly. That is, they need water for domestic use, for their animals, and irrigation of their land.
Honorable Chakapong, you got a follow-up question too?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to say that the response given by the ministry through the chairman is unsatisfactory. Now, Honorable Speaker, I say this because when you look at the way this question has been answered, especially in page 2 of 6, where they are saying water treatment facilities designed to achieve treatment capacity of 62,612 cubic meters, and all of which are being taken to Turkana. Because in Part D, that combined treated water transmission pipelines comprising of 38,000 to Lodwa and to Lokichar, there is no water that is being taken to communities in West Pokot from this report. And I think that is the question that Honorable Moroto was asking, that from this report, looks like the treated water and is being treated in West Pokot at a place called Riting. And then again, it is being transmitted to Lokichar and Lodwa in Turkana County. So the Pokot community living around Takwel, in the areas of the Takwel area, Umbelion, Nasolot, Sarmach, West Pokot, there is no provision for supply of water to them. And then, of course, the ministry goes ahead to talk about areas that are not served by the water from Takwel. Like now, talk of Weiwei, talk of Muruny. These are areas that are far away from what we are talking about. We are talking about the water from Lake Takwel that is going to Lokichar. How is that water benefiting the community of West Pokot? That should have been the question that is being asked. Then two, Honorable Speaker, when they are talking about specific areas targeted in West Pokot, you know, much of these areas that are being mentioned here are areas outside the area we are talking about, and most of it is in Turkana. So there is nothing clearly for the Pokot in this whole arrangement. That's why we are raising this, and we would like the chair to further take up this, and if possible, involve the leadership and the representatives of the people of West Pokot so that we can bring this out. People who are sitting in some of these ministries, Honorable Speaker, think that by bringing this kind of statement, they have captured everybody. It is not true. So we are raising these issues on behalf of the community, that that community has been given a raw deal in the whole of this arrangement. Thank you very much.
Honorable Mizigi.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I want to comment on this issue. Also want to support my colleagues on the issue of the many dams that the government is undertaking to do in the country, because, Mr. Speaker, water is really a challenge in many places, and that is why the government saw it well that to build these dams. But in most cases, you find that these dams are being built and there's no, you know, like this water is not being directed to the communities. So, Mr. Speaker, what my colleagues are talking about is very important. I will really urge the chair of the committee really to bring us a good report on how these dams are going to benefit the community directly, because most of these dams, we don't see the water being channeled to the people that are really in need of this water. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker.
Order.
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable order. Honorable Kangogo, please, I hope you're noting this down, because there's other two coming, so that then you're able to take them together. Yes, Honorable Mogoy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to request you to implore on the chair, because this question, for the first time, it's coming from Pokot, but Mr. Speaker, the issue of Gatanga Dam, Kiserian Dam, or everywhere where there are mega dams, continually, the residents of that area do not benefit from dams. Mr. Speaker, probably it's a policy issue that now the chair needs to take on a different dimension. And I want to tell you that the Kiserian Dam, which was built in the last administration, the residents of Kiserian, where the dam is, do not benefit from the water there. Yet it is drunk in Ongata Rongai, in other areas. Gatanga Dam, the issue was raised here even as a petition. Mr. Speaker, would I be in order to request the chair, do they have a policy on how, when dams are built, the residents of the area where the dam is benefit from? Because it comes out in every question, and continuously the chair never brings in either a policy, and if this is a gap, what are you doing going forward? Because the chair Kagongo, continuously your answer lacks a solution for the immediate area residents, those who are around the area. Thank you, Speaker.
The Honorable Kiara Jane.
Mr. Speaker, this is a very serious issue we are discussing about dams. I don't come from Nyandarua, but Sasimua Dam doesn't benefit Nyandarua people. In Naivasha, we had been promised we are going to get water from Nyandarua. In fact, 3 dams were being mentioned, but they have not been built. Our water in Naivasha has a lot of fluoride. Our children in Naivasha never get recruited to the armed forces or police or anywhere because of their brown teeth, because of the water we have. Yet we are waiting for water from Nyandarua, and dams, 3 dams, Kinja, Pesi, and Malewa, were promised. Mr. Speaker, we are still waiting, and I think I would want to ask the chairman, at least since he is in the government that went promising these dams, to fast track them so that they can give us a record. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Hillary, finally.
Mr. Speaker, I want to join the other members in raising some pertinent issues, Mr. Speaker, about this issue of dams. Remember, if the promise by the President that we have to do dams for irrigation is to be true, the Ministry of Water, through the committee chaired by the Honorable Kangogo, must show seriousness, Mr. Speaker, with especially the recent dams. We want dams that will supply water like the Karumeno dams, the dams in Muranga. The latest dams were done halfway without benefit to the people. Mr. Speaker, in mind, from where my interest is the Korusoin Dam, the Itare Dam, the Poster Dam, they are all stuck, Mr. Speaker, and people are waiting to accelerate development and bring water closer to them. What is the chair, through the ministry, doing to make sure that all these projects are fast-tracked to benefit the immediate people around there and to increase the volumes of water for irrigation and enhance food productivity in the country, Mr. Speaker? Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. I don't sit in the committee of. Sorry, come again.
Do you want to ask a follow-up question? Do you have a
No,
follow-up question?
I just wanted to contribute a little bit on what they have said in terms of the water.
No, we are asking follow-up questions, not contribution.
Okay. Okay.
The Honorable Kangogo, go ahead and as you do so, just note what I told you earlier. If there's anything in the upcoming budget, it's a proposal. Parliament has not passed any budget for 2026, 2027. So if it is in that PPS, it's a proposal to be the budget. It is in the budget.
Honorable Speaker, I said it clearly that it is the proposal, even when they appeared before us on a budget policy statement, the State Department of Irrigation proposed that the next financial year, they are proposing $1 billion to West Pokot for irrigation. But Mr. Speaker, let me answer the 2 questions which are similar for the 2 members of West Pokot, the Honorable Lochakaponga and the Honorable Kasiwai. Mr. Speaker, I need to be clear, Mr. Speaker, that the water extractions from Takwe Dam to Lokichar is specifically to go to the oil fields, Mr. Speaker, in Lokichar. it is specifically that we want to have this water in Lokichar because of the oil extraction which is happening there. But again, Mr. Speaker, we are saying...
This water treated.
Sorry?
This water treated, this water, is this treated for consumption?
There is also some component for consumption around Takwel, around Lodwa.
And that is the issue.
Yes.
The members are saying that you cannot take water from Takwel to the oil fields and for consumption in Lokichar and leave the place where the water is being treated. That is the issue.
Mr. Speaker, there is, if you check my answers, I said a water treatment facility designed for, that's just for consumption, with capacity of 62,000. But this one now is on the Turkana side. So what I'm asking the members from the West Pokot side, Mr. Speaker, and this applies to the entire counties. Water is a natural shared commodity, Mr. Speaker, and it cuts across counties. The water we are using in Nairobi is from Murang'a, and those are the areas of, those are the counties. So, but what we are doing as a committee, Honorable Speaker, which we have discussed with the ministry, where the water comes from is extracted, Mr. Speaker. We have to do something there. That is why in West Pokot, I have said, if you read number E on my question, Mr. Speaker, I say the community water offtake points on the lines, which includes quite a number of areas in West Pokot, Mr. Speaker, will be determined at a detailed design stage. As it is, Mr. Speaker, this is a project between the Ministry of Water and the Ministry of Energy. So, at a detailed design stage, Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Water will now handle the water component, making sure that the communities along the pipeline will benefit in terms of, we are going to create a water points for animals, where the animals will have drinking water, and also the communities in West Pokot. And I want to assure the members, Honorable Speaker, that there will be some points, we will provide that there will be some points where communities will take water. Kiting, Mr. Speaker, is in West Pokot. That's where we are doing the treatment. And we cannot do the treatment plant there and then take the water to Turkana without the community benefiting around there, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, my submission on this issue of West Pokot, we are at the design stage. The ministry is at the design stage. I want to promise the honorable members that together with the ministry, we will do a public participation, even when we are, as we continue with the designs, on the ground, so that we hear from the community proposing to us that we want our water points here and here, both for the domestic, Honorable Speaker, and also for their livestock. On the general questions, Honorable Speaker, by honorable members, is the same. They are asking, the Honorable Haika, the Honorable Jane Kihara there is asking, what are the benefits for the communities where these dams are built, or whether the source of water? So it is the same. If you check, Honorable Speaker, it is a program which initially it's been neglected, where the water where the abstraction is done, the communities don't benefit. But now we are providing, Honorable Speaker, we have asked the ministry to be also providing water for the upstream communities so that to benefit from the water. Mr. Speaker, on Giserian Dam, Honorable Speaker, was awarded and the contractor was given a contract, but there was a court case. And the honorable member, there was a court case which is still even ongoing with the Ati Water, Honorable Speaker. So, the Speaker, with those many remarks, I thank you.
I thought it was a bit comprehensive now. Take your seat, Mr. Kangogo. Can we wind this up?
Oh, thank you, Honorable Speaker. I think Honorable Kangogo wants to clarify something, but no, from the statement, Honorable Speaker, I'm asking Honorable Kangogo or even the ministry why it was very difficult to mention a name even in Pokot.
Okay.
Apart from the treatment plant in Riting, then straight from Riting to Lodwa municipality.
Okay.
So why was it not possible even to...
That's okay.
mention?
I think that's well said. Honorable Kasiwai, what is it that is not...
Yes, Honorable Speaker, I still... I want to know, the chairman has just told us that the treatment plan is going to take place in Riting. That is a place near the dam, still in Pokot land, but it's not mentioned what number of households are going to benefit from the water, we want him to quantify and specify the areas, the number of households going to benefit from the water so that we get satisfied. It's just talking, it has no facts.
Okay. The Honorable Kangogas, you respond to that. Respond to also the question by Honorable Hilary Kiplagat. And I was happy to hear from you that this is at the design stage. Now, as you respond, it's an issue raised by the Honorable Gogoyo. That is very important. You are basically brushing over it. Why is it difficult to put it either in law or in policy so that you don't have to ask the ministry when you're designing a water plant, you're designing a power plant, ensure that before anybody eats from that pot, the owners of the source are able to have a bite of this. Please go ahead.
Honorable Speaker, I want to agree with you. And Honorable Speaker, there is a Water Amendment Act which is still at preliminary stage, where, Honorable Speaker, we are also looking at the water regulators like the WRA, the charges they are collecting, Honorable Speaker, like out of the 6% they are collecting, we are saying the 3% to go to WRA and the 3% to go to the for the conservation of the index, including supplying water to the communities around there, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, as we continue or as we look with that Water Amendment Act which is coming, Honorable Speaker, we will make sure that we put in place a law where the communities where upstream will benefit. Mr. Speaker, this is a response which I'm going to table before you. And if you check, Honorable Speaker, on page 5, I want the Honorable Ojakapong and the Honorable Kasiwai. On page 5, I said this project is still at design stage, and I indicated further mapping of beneficiaries' communities will be undertaken at design stage to give exact number of beneficiaries and specific villages. That is my response, Honorable Speaker. So I want the members to hold their horses. During the public participation, Mr. Speaker, myself, I will be on the ground together with my committee and the ministry to make sure that we identify those communities, and, Mr. Speaker, that the water is going to benefit both West Pokot and also in Turkana counties. For the project by Sioi Murunyi, Honorable Speaker, it's a project which told a while ago together with Itare that, Mr. Speaker, this House passed a National Infrastructure Fund some few days ago, which has been ascended, Honorable President, His Excellency the President, Honorable Speaker, and the ministry, they are now mapping out those projects which stole, because there were projects of about 40 billion, 30 billion, and we were not able to support with the normal exchequer. So we will move those ones to the National Infrastructure Fund. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. I think we dispense with that and ask the Honorable Kasiwai and the Honorable Kajapong to keep an eye on the ball in that regard. I will indulge the Honorable Mashele, if he's in the House, to be able to raise his own question number 3, 2026. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to ask for the following question to the National Land Commission. Could the Commission, 1, provide the status of compensation to Mr. Jimmy Otieno Abongo, the owner of the plot number MN/6/2519, which was partly demolished in 2017 to pave way for the dwelling of Magongo and Oil Refinery Road by the Kenyan National Highway Authority, KENHA. 2, explain why Mr. Jimmy Otieno has not been compensated to date, despite other residents of the area whose land was compulsory acquired having receiving their compensation. 3, indicate the assessed value of the property as determined by the government valuer and the amount he is entitled to as a compensation, including the timeline within which he shall receive the payment. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chairman, Committee on Lands. Yes, the honorable member. You are a member of the committee?
Yes, I'm a member of the committee.
Okay.
Chair, I'm a member of the committee, and I have will undertake on that issue. And once we are back from recess, you will have the reply on this.
How far back in from recess?
The first week of after the recess.
Okay. Guru Mashele, the first week when you come back from recess, please ensure that you follow up on the same.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. I think that ends that section. Next order. And before you go to the next order, honorable members, seated in the speaker's gallery are students from Preacher's Blood Primary and JSS, Juja, Kiambu County. They are here to follow our proceedings and they are welcome to follow the same. Could we welcome them to Parliament this morning? Thank you. Honorable Kawanjiku, is this your county?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me take this opportunity to welcome all the students, especially those who come from Kiambu County, where I come from, and welcome them to the House of, to the National Parliament. This is where laws are made, and we want to encourage them to keep doing their best as far as the academics are concerned, and also continue, desiring to become readers, because after all said and done, they are the one who will occupy these spaces after we are left and after we have retired. So we want to welcome them and to tell them to understand and also to learn whatever happens within the House. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Members, seated also in the public gallery are students from Briar Rose Junior School, Langata constituency, Nairobi County, and students from Turasha Secondary School, Kipiri, Nyandarua County. They are all welcome to follow proceedings this morning. Next order.
Order number 8, the Sports Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 5 of 2026, first reading. A bill for an act of Parliament to amend the Sports Act and for connected purposes.
Thank you.
Order number 9, the Teacher Service Commission Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 27 of 2024, second reading, resumption of debate.
All members, on this particular bill, we have a balance of 36 minutes, and the member on the floor, when the House throws on this, was Honorable Daniel Carrido. If in the House, it's a balance of 3 minutes. If it's not, could I, by a show of, by press of interventions, know who want to contribute to this bill, the TSC bill? Is Honorable Abdul Haru in the House? Honorable Abdul, oh, he's there. Honorable, can you contribute to this? Please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute to this important bill that has been brought by Honorable Abdul Halo on amendment of the TSC. Honorable Speaker, we must appreciate that the amendment is timely, because one of the things that is trying to amend is to make sure that, we promote teachers on time, and we make sure that, this issue of acting of so many teachers for a very long time, it is actually out of order. And he was trying to insinuate that there should be a timelines on when that we are supposed to make sure that teachers can act for a certain time or for a certain period. We must also appreciate that quite a number of things that are continuing as far as the Teacher Service Commission is concerned, even in terms of bringing the amendment to make sure that, number one, Teachers are promoted on time, and we want to appreciate whatever the government has been trying to do by making sure we employ as many teachers as possible. Right now, we are talking about 100 plus teachers who have been employed. And when you realize some of these things that the teachers also go through in terms of hardship allowances, or in terms of areas that have hardship allowances, hardship areas, we must also ensure that teachers are well remunerated. Even if we are appreciating the fact that the government there is a lot that the government has done as far as promotion of teachers are concerned, as far as employing our teachers are concerned. Some of the schools, like in our constituency, we have been having low performance because of the numbers of teachers that are working within the certain school. You realize that one teacher in a primary school is serving or probably working for about 100 or so students. So we must reduce the ratio as far as those students and the teachers are concerned, so that we can increase the capacity and the number of students and the performance of students in our public primary school. There are a lot to be done in terms of infrastructure, as far as also we are talking about the promotions of these teachers. You realize that when a teacher gets a TSC number, he takes like forever. Some of them, they're being even employed when they're about 48 or 50 years. That's when they're getting employed at the Teacher Service Commission. So these amendments, they are timely, and we need to keep working on them so that we can better the performance of our public primary schools, the performance of our high school teachers, by ensure that the teachers are well motivated, even in terms of where they operate from, even in terms of the salaries that they receive. And we want to appreciate that so far we have been able to employ, this Kenya Kwanza government has been able to employ about 100 or 100,000 teachers. It has never happened in history of this country, Mr. Speaker. So we must continue making these amendments, making these improvements, even what is being proposed, that, the free primary education and the free secondary education. And I appreciate that the members have started, there is a conversation going on around, that there is no way we will be having a bursary from the MCA, we'll having a bursary from a member of parliament, we'll be having a bursary from the presidential and the counties. We need to add all these bursaries and work out on a formula on how we are going to make free secondary education, or make a secondary education free, especially in our day schools, because that children or that student is supposed to come from home, go to school. The government is providing capitation. There is already money in school as far as the laboratory and the NGCDF. We are doing what we can to make sure that we increase the infrastructure of our public secondary school. We make sure that we have enough infrastructure. We make sure we have enough laboratory. But when it comes to giving bursaries, we must do away with it and make sure we make education, especially in public day schools, free. As some of the constituencies in our constituency, we have tried to manage it, because there must be a way we control and manage, because the only cost that is given from the high schools is the school feeding. So there must be a formula that we can use to make sure all the day schools, that a student can wake up in the morning, go to school, spend the day in school, have lunch at school, and then at the end of the day, the parent doesn't have to produce or to give anything, so that we continue maintaining as many students as possible in our secondary day school, Mr. Speaker. We must be intentional by making the cost of education affordable. And that's why we want to appreciate the government by the kind of teachers they employed. The issue of BOM teachers have been able to be reduced. So therefore, there is no cost that is passed to the parent because of the BOM teachers. We must be intentional again. Even next year, all those teachers who are in the internship, they must be absorbed by the Teacher Service Commission. And those are some of the things that we are saying. We need to do an overhaul on the education sector. If you look at the national budget, the cost of education in Kenya, it is the highest as far as all the departmental or all the government departments are concerned, all the ministries. We are costing about 750 billion shillings annually. That we must be intentional to make sure that there is result as far as the investments that we are injecting in the education sector in this country. There must be results in terms of, are we able to sustain the students in school? Are we able to make sure that education become a right for every child, even if the Constitution offers that? We must see it deliberate that every child in Kenya goes to school without hassle. No parent have to sell the property, or no parent will have to sell his cows or his goats because he wants to keep his child in primary or secondary school, Mr. Speaker. So it must be intentional, because the only way to equalize all the children, the kids from the poor background, the kids from the rich background, is to make sure that the education is accessible from across the board. When you go to Turkana, when you come to Nairobi, that the education cost is it's a government affair. Mr. Speaker,
just for the interest of the chair, you said we consolidate all these bursaries and we make secondary education free in the country. All the money that are set aside for bursaries, and you're talking about the NGC,
yes,
the National Government Constituency Development Fund, the Ward Fund, the governors, and all that. Now, what about tertiary education and university education?
You see, Mr. Speaker, there is that.
If those bursaries are done away with and all those resources just go into secondary education, then what happens to students who are going to be poor students who cannot afford to go through tertiary and university educations? And because by then all the CDF and all these bursaries, according to you, should be consolidated into one kitty and the national government should take over.
When you look at it, Mr. Speaker, because the discussion we are having as a country, whereby we consolidate all the bursaries, it's a suggestion. And number two, amount of money that we spend probably on the high school, because even if the kind of bursary we offer in our public day, in our NGCDF, is not more than 10,000 shillings, Mr. Speaker. When you do the 10,000 and the costing of tertiary and TVETs, the amount of money that that parent will cost, that parent will have to, to provide for the child to continue, it is so minimal. So if we can be able to save some amount of money for the 4 years that child has been in high school, maybe probably that parent will be planning on what, on the engagement that is going to have, or the costing of the tertiary education and university, Mr. Speaker. But it's a discussion that people need to have honestly, so that at the end of the day, even if the government is going to put a lot of resources, especially on the funding model that we have, especially for the universities, then we may look at it. Are we saving any amount of money? Is model A a good model? Is model B a good model? But we need to have that discussion, so that at least if we need 30 billion, I had the former chair here suggesting that we only need 30 billion to make sure that every child in secondary school, or every child mostly in junior secondary and secondary school, because now we have junior secondary, to go to school without paying anything. But you see also there are other costs that every school sometimes, when it comes to uniform, when you realize the cost of uniform, it has become so crazy that you find that a uniform that we used to buy, we normally buy about 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. The school, when you look at the fee structure, the uniform alone is about 20 or something, or 15,000 in some of the high schools. So we must look for a way to modernize and to be deliberate about making the cost of education a little bit achievable, especially for the secondary and the junior secondary school. But when it comes to the university, there are many other activities that happens within university. And the government will also look into it. Because if you want to tell me that the 10,000 I normally accord the students who come from Kiambaa constituency.
How many high schools do you have in your constituency?
In my constituency, Mr.
How many? Because I have 8 high schools in my constituency.
You have how many?
8. And nobody pays any fees. I have sponsored them all through the NGC.
You see, now you have 8, me I have 24. But the other constituencies.
And I'm also sponsoring 350 students in tertiary and university, and the list they get is 40,000 per student. So where are you taking the money? When
I announce in my secondary school that I'm issuing bursary, and I'm telling you those are the day schools. They're about 24. Day and boarding secondary school, Mr. Speaker.
What's your point of order, Angusia, CNN?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, you know, NGCDF is one of the most unfair funds you have ever seen. You have got 3,000 students in your constituency and other constituencies.
Order, Honorable Ngusia, order. That's not a point of order. It's a point of information, but proceed.
Honorable Speaker, I'm well informed by CNN. But when you come to my constituency, the number of students I have for the secondary school already, it's about 6,000. That is day school. When you announce you are issuing bursary to the secondary, to the boarding students, Like yesterday I had an activity of
I have
people
more than
correcting.
3,000.
It's more than 6,000, Mr. Speaker. So there must be a deliberate effort. Money must follow people. We must make sure that where the money is being allocated, there is also population to be able to consume that money. That's why from where you sit, it is easier for you to sponsor 350 students, all, and you give them what you call sponsorship without even paying a coin. But I cannot manage to do that in my own constituency because the number of students that I have, it's enormous. The amount of money that I set, I normally set to the maximum, which is about 70 million or about 75 million in terms of the amount allocated. That's about 40%. But out of all that money, I can promise you, there is no student I'll be able to give more than 8,000 or 10,000, Mr. Speaker. So we must be deliberate in terms of this discussion so that we have a conversation whether the NGCDF
How many minutes does he have? Why is it taken forever?
Mr. Speaker, let me finish by saying there must be a deliberate, we must be intentional to discuss this thing about bursary and money allocated to every student. The other suggestion was we leave it to the NGCDF board.
I also have a foundation. You better put up a foundation and put money aside for education and use your own money also.
Mr. Speaker, you are the one who is consuming my time. What I'm saying is, and you are a senior when it comes to many things. So I'm still following up on the steps. I'm still a junior member around. So I'm still making sure that things are done. But Mr. Speaker, what we are saying, we must be intentional so that we make sure the students from Kiambaa and a student from Turkana, when it comes to allocation of bursaries, it is fairly and equally to every student. So these amendments, they are timely, and we'll continue supporting them to make sure that we establish a system that will be fair as far as the education is concerned. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable David Ochieng, is he there? The MP for Kangundo. MP for Kangundo, followed by the Honorable David Ochieng. And
Thank
then
you.
I'll call on the mover to...
Thank you very much, Honorable
reply.
Speaker, for giving the opportunity to bring my voice in this House on this bill. Honorable Speaker, as we talk about teachers play very essential roles in our community and very important, especially bring up our children from nursery education, primary education, secondary education up to 18 years. If you see, having our children stay with teachers from that age, it means that they are the ones who are bringing the results of the society. You see this house, everybody is a product of our teacher. Not only from up to secondary school, we come also to college. You get still we are under teachers. So when you see something for the teachers, it asks you a question. See our society. In our society, we have imam, we have pastors, and we have teachers. You can ask yourself, who is society development? The teachers are more to the society development because you see from Monday to Friday, our children are staying with the teachers. So teachers play a very major role in this society. So that's why I stand up and support this bill by saying that we are giving our teachers promotion by acting positions. And also, I was trying to tell the promoter of the bill, not only is happening to the teachers, but also happening in many ministry offices, that our people are put in acting position. We don't know, maybe somebody is taking the benefit, or maybe somebody is trying to try something. So it is very important, if you are being appointed to become a deputy principal or a secondary principal of school, you need to be considered. You need to have that allowance for that job you are doing. Because you are taking extra activity from the duty which you are being paid under TSC. So it is very important, this house, to come up with a way our teachers get compensated the extra work they do for the society. Today, a Kenyan society, I think we have another bill which we try to lock our people not to work more than 6 months. You cannot put somebody to be acting position more than 6 months. So the bill has locked it very well. The teacher should act not more than 6 months. And those 6 months should have a way that the compensation is worthy and the value of the work you are doing. So that now we can know the development of society. If again, we go back in the villages, because you see now the economical factors, not only in town centers when we get devolved units, the economical factors was now spread
outside the country. The more people who are paid thoroughly, who are even paying pay as you earn, VAT, everything, they are also teachers. If you go to village, the payslip person more in the village, they are teachers. So if not only see the people who are acting, if you see doing good thing for the teachers, it's good for economical distribution within the jurisdiction of the Kenya, and also giving them encouragement of society activities. With those few remarks, the Honorable Speaker, I support. Thank you very much.
The Honorable David Ochieng. David Ochieng.
Mr. Speaker, thank you so much, and I would like to support the bill by the Honorable Harrow. Mr. Speaker, it's quite disheartening sometimes, Mr. Speaker, to see teachers being asked to act as principal or as head teacher of a high school or primary school, and they act for a long time, 1 year, 8 months, 6 months, and when promotions come, this acting teacher is asked to go back to his former station as deputy principal or as senior teacher without regard to the time they spent serving as acting principal, acting head of institutions, Mr. Speaker. It is, in my opinion, wasteful, first of all, but also discourages industry. Over the weekend, actually on Monday this week, Honorable Speaker, I was issuing bursary checks to my constituents, and 2 teachers came to me. Unfortunately, two of them, both of them were with me at the university. One of them has been acting at a school for the last 8 months. And last week, a principal was posted to that school. He has to go back to the classroom as a senior teacher in another school, not in the same school he was acting in. It doesn't encourage industry. These teachers, some of them are qualified to be principals, but even the way we promote them, the Speaker, the TSC method of promoting teachers now is so arbitrary. We can't have a situation where teachers who have earned their time in schools where they teach, teachers who have earned their titles, a teacher who has stayed in school for 6-8 years, having to look for member of parliament. Members of parliament will tell you here, now we've become agents for promotion of teachers. Teachers coming to our offices to file requests for promotion. Why would it happen? Why should a member of parliament be involved in promoting teachers if a teacher has earned their time? If a teacher has taught for 10 years in the same job group, why would members of parliament, why are they bothering us? Because TSC has decided that it will not promote teachers based on merit, but on other parameters that are not meritorious. TSC must do its job, Mr. Speaker. When teachers are being employed, and you get this every day, when they're employing teachers, and members of parliament, in my opinion, we must take interest in this. Why would we be having TSC employing teachers who finished college last year because they know someone, and there are some others queuing who finished college in 2011, 09, 2012 are queuing, but because someone knows someone, we have a teacher who finished college in 2025, has a job today. But we have those who finished in 2011 queuing. Arbitrariness. Mr. Speaker, we have allowed TSC to get away with too much. It's not fair. It shouldn't be happening in our country. That teachers, we used to be told those days, and Honorable Speaker, you know, personally, both my mother and father were teachers. And I saw they struggled trying to make sure the children they taught become what they want to become in life. But we become teachers, we made teachers become beggars. Even the way we pay them. Someone yesterday was showing me a comparison between the highest paid teacher and the highest paid police officer, the highest paid teacher and the highest paid KWS officer. The Speaker, much as we're employing many teachers now, we need to have the TSC holistically look at the welfare of the teacher. We are tired as a country of having teacher strikes almost every single year because of the arbitrariness in the way we are running TSC. In fact, sometimes, I believe that the work you gave to TSC should be taken back to the ministry. Because they have become alone unto themselves. They have become so lawless that you don't know what happens in there. So I support this bill, Mr. Speaker, and hope that once this bill is passed, the law will be followed. But above all, Mr. Speaker, the TSC must follow its code for promotions. As MPs, we are tired of being agents for promotion for teachers who have served their time, served well, and need promoted without having talked to anybody else, Mr. Speaker. I support.
Don't see any more interest in it. Oh, is that Bedzimba? The Honorable Bedzimba.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika kunipa fursa na mimi niweze kuchangia mswada huu, na mimi nimesimama hapa kupongeza mswada huu na kuunga mkono kwa sababu ni jambo la busara sana, kwa sababu walimu ni watu muhimu sana katika taifa na wanatosha kuangaliwa vilivyo. Wako walimu wakuu ambao wanafanya nafasi ya kaimu mwalimu mkuu, walimu wanafanya nafasi ya kaimu mwalimu mkuu ama naibu wake kwa kipindi zaidi ya mwaka mzima ama kwa kipindi kirefu zaidi ya hapo, lakini hawalipwi marupurupu. Na wao jambo lolote likiwa linafanyika pale, wao ndio watakuwa responsible kwa sababu wao ndio wako pale. Kwa hivyo wataulizwa maswali yale mwalimu mkuu ama naibu wake angeulizwa. Lakini cha kusikitisha ni kwamba yuko pale kwa kipindi chote bila watu kushughulika maslaha yake, yeye mwenyewe anaendelea vipi, wanamweka tu wakisema ngoja tutafute nafasi ya mtu mwingine aingie. Ni masikitiko sana, na baada ile kazi imekuwa advertised, yeye hawi kama mtu ambaye anashughulikiwa kwamba ndio mtu wa kwanza kuangaliwa kabla mtu mwingine. Wanachukua nafasi ya mwalimu mwingine, yeye anaachwa pale, anarudi darasani, na pale katika shule ilikuwa kuna heshima fulani ambao amepata, na kuna wale walimfurahia, wale hawakumfurahia, na leo anarudi tena darasani kama mwalimu wa kawaida. Kwa hivyo hiyo ni masikitiko makubwa. Lazima kwamba idara ama commission ya walimu washughulikie kwamba wakati wanamweka mtu awe kama kaimu mwalimu mkuu, wawe tayari kumchukua wakati ile kazi imekuwa imetengenezwa. Kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi nimesimama kuhakikisha kwamba ninaunga mkono na kupendekeza kwamba hata wale walimu ambao washa act kwa kipindi kirefu, wakati tuna consider walipwe, hawa watakaokuja na wale pia waangaliwe kama wanaweza kuwa backdated waweze kulipa. Kwa haya mengi Mheshimiwa Spika, nasema asante sana.
Okay. Honorable members, this is a timed motion, so I'm going to give two more people 2 minutes each. One is Madam Kaemba, MP for Makueni, the Honorable gracious lady from Narok there, Ngusia and Karemba. But then they'll take no more than 2 minutes each one of you, and the lady from also Samburu. Am I right? So please, let's take no more than 2 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to make my contribution to this very important bill. Really, I think it's very important that this is on the floor of the House, because I think the TSC has really messed up the teachers. And the once noble profession that everybody admired is becoming really messed up. And I think one of the key things that we find is the fact that in the employment opportunities being given, Honorable Speaker, you realize that you would get somebody who was trained long time ago, somebody who is 48 years and has not been employed. Yet the person meets all the qualification of employment, because it has become, I think, an end of corruption. Because you will find somebody who does not have better qualification is employed, and another who has been sitting for those interviews for years and the person is not employed. Even look come to the promotion, Honorable Speaker. Teachers are crying all over. There's somebody just about to retire, has the same qualification like somebody else who has been promoted more than 3 times to a senior level. And I think this is becoming very, this is becoming very, very bad for our teachers, because they are losing confidence. They start running after us, members of parliament, to go and talk for them. And you know, we may not be professional teachers. So it now becomes a political game where the teachers who get employed, Honorable Speaker, may not be the most competent, and even those getting promoted may not be the most competent. So I think the minister concerned and the commission, we should look at this seriously. Like now, I have in my area at least 3 teachers I know. They are 48 years. I try to push. Last time they get employed, they never got employed. So I wonder, will they ever get employed? And if they get employed, when will they work? So I think, Honorable Speaker, this is something we should look at seriously if we are real decision makers for this country. There is need to streamline the commission, and if they cannot actually go by the rule of law, I think there needs to be very clear disciplinary actions. So I really support this, and I hope it will come to fruition. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Parejo, followed by the Honorable Ngusia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to add.
Take the mic close.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to add my voice to this bill. This is a very important bill, and especially to us who come from the remote areas where teachers work under very hard conditions. These teachers have no houses, they are very few, there are no roads, they cannot reach to the schools in the time that they are needed, and yet, when appointed to act, you act for more than 6 or 10 years, and then finally, when an opportunity comes, somebody else who have never even acted is appointed to lead the school. And the other day, I got an opportunity to interact with the county director of education because of one teacher who acted for 6 years. And when the opportunity came, somebody else was sent to come and lead the school. So when I talked to the director of education, she told me that it was not my fault, but the TSC laws, or what the TSC needs, is that no teacher can be promoted if you have been acting in that school. So it means then that teacher will remain acting forever and he can never be considered. So it is time for this parliament to set laws that will save these teachers from these problems, and again to make sure that TSC have been fair to these teachers. Because at the moment, teachers are playing a very good role by educating our children, because I know that and I understand and I believe that education is the only equalizer. Even when you look at the TVs,
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a very important bill, and from the onset, let me congratulate and thank my friend Abdul Haro for bringing such an important bill in the floor of the House. And of course, the people of his constituents will elect him automatically because of this important piece of legislation. Mr. Speaker, if you face the challenges we have been facing in terms of this industry, the teaching industry, you will realize that majority of the teachers, this bill is just seeking to entrench fairness in terms of the promotion, especially in the teachers who have been acting for long. The bill is going to cure so many challenges the teachers have been facing. Number one is job stagnation and poor career progression. And this one is going to boost morale if it is enacted, Mr. Speaker. There has been a low intake, of course, home, and low intake, the financial distress we have been experiencing in terms of the teachers' promotion. Most of the teachers who have been acting, Mr. Speaker, they have not been getting their salaries, and you find that there is low morale in terms of the teaching, and it is going to, of course, enhance the teaching quality in our institution, Mr. Speaker. There are so many issues we can talk about, but due to limited time, Mr. Speaker, I fully support this bill, and let us enact it so that the teachers can experience fairness in terms of transfer and promotion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for these few remarks.
Yeah, Karemba.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and allow me from the onset to support this Teacher Service Commission Amendment Bill. Honorable Speaker, TSC has a duty and responsibility to make sure that teachers are motivated. Honorable Speaker, this bill seeks to introduce rules that will properly define the roles of the teachers that are in acting positions. And the Honorable Speaker, it is very demotivating for a teacher to act for a couple of months, and soon afterwards they are told to vacate, or rather, a teacher is brought into their school and continues in the positions that the teachers, or rather the acting positions. Honorable Speaker, I have a case in my constituency where a teacher has acted for so long, and every time a new teacher is brought into the school, that teacher is sent back to their positions, and that is always very demoralizing. So Teacher Service Commission, Honorable Speaker, must now introduce very clear rules. Let a teacher act, but act for a very defined period, so that after that they are confirmed, so that they are motivated as they continue teaching. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I support.
The Honorable Member for Samburu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to add my voice in support of the bill, Mr. Speaker. This is a very important bill for the teachers of this country. Some of them, Mr. Speaker, who have been working in very hard conditions, in very remote areas, and because of justice, I think this bill is going to unlock the challenges that some of them have been undergoing for a long time. Because, Mr. Speaker, you can find a teacher who has been in acting position for even 7 to 8 years, and unfortunately, someone else is brought to take over from him. Because I think being in an acting position means that you are just going to be confirmed. So this bill is going to give them justice, that our teachers should be treated equally and given opportunity when the time arises. Mr. Speaker, our teachers need to be promoted on time, and not because they know someone in TSC or in the office of director, but they must be promoted on merit. Because it has been a challenge. Some of them work for many years without promotions, without giving them their dues, and that demoralizes many of our teachers. Another challenge that TSC needs to look at, Mr. Speaker, is that they should train teachers that they are able to absorb. Because, Mr. Speaker, you can find so many teachers are trained, and they reach time of retirement without being employed. And we still have a lot of gaps in terms of teacher ratio, student ratio in this country. Another challenge, Mr. Speaker, is that our teachers, some of them who have retired, it has been a problem for them to get their dues. And we want the TSC to be proactive, because some of them even have died without TSC reimbursing them what they are supposed to get. And it's so unfair. You work for the country, and during the time of retirement, you go through a lot of challenges because the system is not automatic to ensure that they get their dues at the right time. There are those teachers who are working in hardship areas. Mr. Speaker, they should be considered for hard.
Not only that, there are teachers who are 3 or 4 teachers in a whole school of 8 classrooms, and there are teachers in other parts of the country who only do 2 lessons in a week. So that needs to be addressed, so that the teaching, the teachers, every child gets an equal opportunity. We don't have right now. I think under the circumstances, there being no more interest in this, I'm going to call on the Honorable Kore to reply, the mover to reply.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. As I move,
Switch off the mic for the Honorable MP for Samburu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. As I stand to reply, let me take this opportunity to thank all the honorable members who have supported this bill overwhelmingly. And I'm happy to say that a lot of you, honorable members in this House, have contributed to this bill, and you have all given overwhelming support to the bill. And I'm sure the more than 461,000 teachers across the country who've been following this bill with a lot of interest are reassured today that the honorable members in this House are fully behind the amendment bill. Honorable Speaker, this bill intends to cure one of the biggest problems in our teaching fraternity, the problem of acting administrators in our schools. Honorable Speaker, statistics show that there are almost close to 4,000 head teachers and deputy head teachers who are in acting capacity. And there are about 99,000 other teachers who are acting in various other acting roles. Honorable Speaker, and the way these acting positions have been handled by TSC through various policies is in a very haphazard manner. Some of these teachers have been made to act for more than 5, 6, 7 years. And when these positions are advertised for substantive recruitment, somebody else is brought in bypassing the teacher who has been acting for 5, 7, 6 years, which is very unfair. Some of these teachers are holding 2 acting appointments. For example, somebody is made to act as a deputy head teacher in one school for several years, and then he's taken to another school to act as a principal for another several years. This is quite unfair. And while all this is happening, these teachers are not paid any acting allowance or any special duty allowance. It is this problem that this bill is intending to cure. Honorable Speaker, this bad policy means that some of these teachers will retire before they are even confirmed in their substantive positions. Honorable Speaker, this kills their morale, it kills their hope of holding a legitimate expectation to be confirmed to the position they are acting. And this bill, therefore, Honorable Speaker, proposes that we entrench fairness in acting administrative positions in our schools. This bill proposes the limit for a period which the teachers are allowed to act. That is, a teacher should be allowed to act between 1 month and not exceeding 6 months. And during that period, this teacher should be paid either acting allowance or special duty allowance. This piece is also proposing that no teacher should be allowed to hold 2 acting positions, so that only one, and when these positions are filled substantively, the teachers who have been acting should be given the priority to act. Honorable Speaker, a prolonged period of a teacher in an acting capacity without being given substantive appointment amounts to discrimination and unfair labor practices on the part of the employer, contrary to the provisions of Article 41 of the Constitution of Kenya, as read together with Section 5 of the Employment Act. Having said that, Honorable Speaker, I will take this opportunity to point out 2, 3 points that honorable members mentioned. I'm not able to point out everything that the honorable members contributed, but a few which were standing out. Honorable Undo raised the important question of the bill, the way it was drafted. It is talking about acting teachers. I think when it goes to the 3rd reading, we will have to give more clarity on that, and so that it is clear that when we are talking about acting teachers, we are talking about acting teachers in administrative positions in schools. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Nyikal, in support of the bill, touched on the 4th schedule on the question of allowances to teachers. And he said these allowances should be entrenched in law because they had a similar arrangement in the health sector where those allowances were put in the regulations and they kept on disappearing one by one until those allowances are not recognizable anymore in the health sector. And Honorable Owen Bayer gave his own experience as a teacher. When he was appointed as a deputy head teacher, TSC never gave him an acting appointment. It is his head teacher who gave him a letter showing that he has different roles. He was never given an acting allowance. And when he went for the interview for the same position, the period that he was acting was never helpful to him because they said that was a local arrangement between you and your head teacher. TSC never gave you an appointment letter to act, and therefore it never contributed anything to his interview. With those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I beg to reply.
Thank you, honorable members. The decision on this matter will be made the next time it is with the order papers. Therefore, putting the question on the same is deferred to the next time is the order paper. For the convening of the House, honorable members, I would request that we go back to order number 5. Hasil, Honorable Nyamoko is here.
Order number 5, papers.
Honorable Nyamoko, go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Wednesday, 11th March 2026. Report of the Departmental Committee on Lands on the approval hearing of nominees for appointment as chairperson and members of the National Land Commission. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
So the same. Next order. Proceed to lay the papers.
Order number
Proceed
6,
to lay.
notices of motion.
Again, your chance.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that taking into consideration the findings of the Departmental Committee on Lands in its report on the approval hearing of nominees for appointment as chairperson and members of the National Land Commission, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 11th March 2026, and pursuant to the provisions of Article 250, 2B of the Constitution, Section 12 of the National Land Commission Act, Cap 281, and Section 3 and 8 of Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, Cap 7F, and this House approves the appointment of the following persons as chairperson and members of the National Land Commission. Number 1, Dr. Abdullahi Sagaf Alawi, chairperson. Number 2, Mrs. Susan Hakasa Oyatsi, member. Mr. Daniel Mureithi Muriungi, member. Mr. Kigen Vincent Cheriot, member. Honorable Dr. Julie Ouma Oseko, member. Honorable Mohammed Abdi Haji Mohammed, member. And Honorable Mary Iani, Senator, member. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. Very well. Let's go to order number 11 now, or order number 10, sorry.
Order number 10, the Universities Amendment number 5 Bill, National Assembly Bill number 79 of 2023, second reading.
The Honorable Major Gadhiru.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the University Amendment Bill number 5 of the National Assembly, Bill number 79 of 2023, be led for a second time. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that the University Amendment Bill number 5, Bill 2023, be now led for a second time. Mr. Speaker, before addressing the specific provision of this bill, it is important to appreciate the mischief that the registration seek to cure. The Universities Act 2012 established universities as an institution of higher learning and academic research. However, over time, universities have continued to offer basic certificates and diplomas, thereby creating duplication with the Technical Vocational Education and Training Authority, TVETA, which regulates the technical and vocational institution offering certificates and diploma courses. As clearly stated in the memorandum of objects and reasons of the bill, this dual certification framework has resulted in inconsistencies in curriculum, content, and duration, overlapping mandates between regulatory bodies, dilution of the character of university as an institution of higher learning and academic research, as well as low enrollment in TVET institutions despite substantial public investments. Mr. Speaker, universities are statutorily established as centers of higher learning, scholarship, and research, focusing on degrees and postgraduate programs. The continued offering of certificates and diplomas courses by universities bars institutional mandate and weaken specialization within the education sector. The bill therefore seeks to restore clarity, strengthen quality assurance, and align the institutional mandate within Kenya's education framework. The core policy question before the House is whether universities should maintain their distinct higher education mandate or continue overlapping with TVET institutions. The bill answers that question decisively. Mr. Speaker, sir, Clause 2 of the bill proposes to amend Section 5 of University Act by deleting the word diplomas and certificates and substituting them with postgraduate diploma and postgraduate certificates. Mr. Speaker, this issue that the Commission of University Education (QUEA) shall only recognize and equate postgraduate qualifications awarded by universities, thereby restoring university to their proper higher education mandate. Additionally, Clause 3 amends Section 5A to reinforce the matter relating to approval, accreditation, and recognition of university academic program shall be confined strictly to postgraduate diplomas and postgraduate certificates. This removes ambiguity and ensures exclusivity of regulatory authority within its refined scope. Further, Clause 4 amends Section 20 of the Act by limiting universities to award degrees, postgraduate diplomas, and postgraduate certificates. Importantly, Mr. Speaker, the bill introduces a saving provision allowing students already enrolled in diploma and certificate courses prior to the commencement of this act to complete their studies and protect legitimate expectation and prevent retroactive prejudice. Mr. Speaker, Clause 5 amend Section 38 to align the power of the Chancellor so that confer authority is limited to degrees, postgraduate diplomas, postgraduate certificates. This aligns ceremonial authority with the revised academic mandate. Mr. Speaker, Clause 6 amends Section 56 by prohibiting the placement board, COPS, from pressing any student in university to undertake diploma or certificate courses. This is a key enforcement provision ensuring operational alignment between placement policy and institutional mandate. Clause 7 amends Section 70 to limit regulatory provision to recognition and equating the postgraduate qualification only, thereby ensuring delegated legislation align strictly with the new framework. Mr. Speaker, the bill explicitly provides that it does not limit fundamental rights and freedom, does not concern any county government, and does not occasion additional public expenditure. Mr. Speaker, Article 10 of the Constitution enshrines the principles of good governance, accountability, and the rule of law. Clarifying institutional mandates within education sector strengthens this constitutional value. Article 43 guarantees the right to education. This right must be implemented through structured and quality assurance framework. By differentiating university education and from technical and vocational education, this bill strengthens both sectors rather than weakening either. Mr. Speaker, the government has invested heavily in TVET institution, yet many record very low enrollment. Limiting diploma and certificate program to TVET institutions will increase enrollment and promote skill-based training aligned with national development priorities. The bill enhances quality assurance by eliminating duplication between QUEA and TVETA in regulating similar qualifications. It also promotes fiasco prudence by ensuring university-focused resources on higher academic and research functions. It also safeguards currently enrolled students through transitional saving costs. Mr. Speaker, in light of the foregoing, the bill seeks to achieve the following. 1, restore university to their core mandate as institution of higher learning. Number 2, it strengthens TVET enrollment and specialization. Number 3, to enhance regulatory clarity and eliminate duplication. Number 4, improve quality assurance within education sector. Number 5, promote structured academic progression pathways. Mr. Speaker, I therefore urge honorable members to support the University Amendment Number 5, Bill 2023. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move, and I request Honorable Amos Mwago, member for Starehe constituency, to second. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well, Honorable Mwango.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I beg to second. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to second this important bill because it addresses a fundamental structure issue within our education system, the question of institutional differentiation and mandate clarity. Mandate clarity for efficiency and growth of institutions and better service delivery in our institutions. This bill is not an attack on universities. It is not a reduction of opportunity. It is not a limitation of access. Rather, it is a restoration of order within our education or within our higher education architecture, which was designed to achieve so much for this country in matters addressing development in this country and the gaps that we have in terms of economic, political, and socio-economic challenges that we have in this country. Mr. Speaker, sir, universities are established under the Universities Act 2012 as institutions of higher learning, academic research. However, over time, they have expanded into offering certificates and diploma programs, functions that are equally and properly undertaken by technical and vocational education and training institutions. This has created duplication in regulation, curriculum inconsistency, and blurred institutional mandates. And it has also reduced focus on core mandates of these institutions of producing solutions to our problems as a country through innovation and inventions. Mr. Speaker, sir, 2 separate regulatory bodies currently oversee similar certificate and diploma qualifications, namely the Commission for University Education and the Technical and Vocational Education Training Authority, TVETA. This overlapping jurisdiction weakens regulatory efficiency and undermines specialization, since these 2 institutions actually gives different standards to these institutions, which are not collaborative and may create a confusion, because judging the standards of a college and a university from different commissions brings some confusion. The bill resolves that by restricting universities to degree and postgraduate programs, the bill restores their core mandate while strengthening the role of TVET institutions in delivering certificate and diploma training through specialization, and that we get to achieve high quality and better cost education and professionalism in our country. Mr. Speaker, sir, we must also consider the national development agenda. The government has invested heavily in TVET institutions across the country, yet many of these institutions continue to record low enrollment. If universities continue competing for diploma students, we weaken the very institutions meant to drive technical skills, industrialization, and job creation. This bill supports structured academic progression, that is certificate to diploma in TVET institutions, and degree to postgraduate training in universities. Mr. Speaker, sir, let it not be lost to us that some of these universities were established as primarily addressing some specific areas of our economy. For example, the JKUAT University, Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, and maybe Egerton University, which was actually launched as a farm school in Egerton in 1939. But as things stand now, most of these universities have focused on these diploma and certificate courses that tend to be more lucrative to them rather than addressing their core mandates and the issue and the reasons why they were established, maybe to bridge the economic gap in our country. So it is time that now these universities focus on their core mandate, and actually, in the world that you are living in, the technological advancements and the way issues have developed, most countries have invested heavily in universities as research institutions so that they bring solutions to the current problems. We can see the technological advancements in other countries that have reduced our country to be a consumer of these advancements, but our country is not a producer because we lack institutions that are in tandem with the way things are going. We lack very robust institutions that can address the issues of artificial intelligence development, the issue of technological advancements in our country, even production and manufacturing, the issue of robotics and technology. We don't have such institutions because our institutions have rather concentrated on this lower level diploma and certificates education. That is an issue that we need to look into as we want to move forward as a country, so that we can be in the same line with other countries that have invested heavily and turn their universities to be institutions that have addressed their issues. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to emphasize that this bill contains a saving provision protecting students already enrolled in diploma and certificate programs. No student will be at disadvantage. No legitimate expectation will be defeated. The transition is orderly and lawful. Further, the bill does not limit fundamental rights and freedoms. It does not concern county governments, and most important, it does not occasion additional public expenditure. It is therefore constitutionally sound and fiscally responsible. Mr. Speaker, sir, differentiation does not weaken institutions, it strengthens them. Clarity does not reduce opportunity, it enhances quality. For these reasons, I support the policy direction of this bill and urge honorable members to debate it favorably. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I second the bill.
Thank you so much, and thank you both of you for such eloquent opposition of the bill on the floor. I now therefore propose the question that the Universities Amendment number 5, Bill, National Assembly Bill number 79 of 2023, be now read a second time. And before I give the first person to contribute on this, members, we got students from Greensville School, Kajiado West constituency and Kajiado County, seated in the Speaker's Gallery. And we've got students from Milimani High School, Naivasha, and they are seated in the public gallery. They're from Nakuru County. They are all welcome for our proceedings this morning and afternoon. And I would ask the Honorable Member for Naivasha to welcome them to the House.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this chance to welcome the students from Milimani High School and also the school from Kajiado. Sorry, I didn't get the name.
It's called Greensville.
It's called?
It's called Greensville.
Greensville.
Greensville School.
Okay. I wish to welcome them for availing themselves to come and see what we do in this house. Milimani High School, I was with you yesterday when I delivered your bursary check of 1.5 million. And we agreed and we have agreed that you need to work hard so that you become better citizens. We have talked a lot because you are school in town. It is clear that you have maintained high degree of discipline in the school and out of the school. I wish to tell you and emphasize that your parents do a lot of work. They work very hard to maintain you in school. On the other hand, I myself, you know, I've been there, I've done a lot for the school. So what remains is for you to study.
Thank you.
And I wish you all the best in this trip and welcome you for finding time to come here and see what you do. Congratulations and welcome again. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Now, on the bill, universities on bill, the first bite on my table would be by the Honorable Rahim Dawood of Imenti North. Or is it not Imenti? Which one? What is the order of the wording?
It is not the Imenti constituency.
Go ahead.
Imenti North is the sub-county. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to congratulate Honorable Major Dong on this bill, although I have complained that he passed my bill, but that's as much as it is. Mr. Speaker, it is good to put a definition between what a university can do and what a TVET institution can do. Mr. Speaker, there is universities have gone into the area which they were not supposed to. Initially, they used to just do degrees, postgraduate diplomas, and above a bachelor's degree. But recently, over the past many years, they have now started doing what TVETs used to do. And I believe they have encroached on the mandate of TVETs. Some universities, private universities, have even established TVET institutions where I have seen, like Mount Kenya University has got Mount Kenya TVET. I have seen even KEMU has got a TVET. So KEMU, that's Kenya Methodist University, has got a TVET. Mr. Speaker, we need to separate those two because TVETs have got a role in this country, and I think we should not allow universities to offer certificates unless and if there is a need for a certificate course which is not offered by TVETs, which I think the TVET authority will be able to offer the courses. Like the other day, Mr. Speaker, London School of Economics is counted as one of the universities where the late President Emilio Kibaki, Mwai Kibaki, went to. I did a certificate course after, even if though I have a master's, I did a certificate course in real estate from London School of Economics. But that is a specialized course which I could not find in Kenyan universities or colleges. So, Mr. Speaker, we need to separate the administration of certificates and diplomas. They should be under one institution, and because when they are offered in the university, they are under the university and not under the TVET institution, the authority. So that means the way they grade the certificates and diplomas is not the way TVET would have graded them. So that creates an anomaly in the certification between a university and the TVET institution. So we need to, whatever the honorable member has proposed, for the transition, they would be allowed to finish. But once this act, the bill becomes an act of parliament, then they should cease any more advertisements or offering of certificate or diploma courses. Mr. Speaker, we need the universities to be churning out graduates in bachelor's, in master's, and PhDs. We do not need them to go down to the certificates because that one is already being done. And then the government needs to strengthen, the Ministry of Education needs to strengthen the TVET institutions because, Mr. Speaker, there is an issue that some of the TVETs are not given enough, enough infrastructure or funding. We need to increase the funding to go to the TVET institutions because they're the most important. They touch to the basics, the ones who have not made it to university, who have not got a C+ and above. Mr. Speaker, 50% of our students do not make it to university grade. So where do they go? They go to the diplomas and certificates. And who are the best people to offer those courses? The best people are the TVET institutions. So, Mr. Speaker, the government should have a policy to do better on the TVET institutions so that we, in this country, and I would urge the government to do courses where the people who are being trained, they can look for jobs. They should not be thinking about white-collar jobs, Mr. Speaker. We need artisans, we need electricians, we need plumbers, we need painters. We need a lot of the physical activities being done. And you will see that people will be thinking that now they are going to do courses in diplomas and certificates and degrees, where we have got a lot of degree holders who are going on the streets. They do not have a job. They will do any job. I think it was last year, where I saw a degree holder doing a menial job, whereas he had a degree. So, Mr. Speaker, I think we should encourage many more, even the ones who have, there were people in my constituency who got a B, who got a B plus, A minus. They did not go to university. They opted to go to a TVET or a national polytechnic because they know that's where the jobs they will get after qualifying. So, Mr. Speaker, with those few remarks, I want to join Honorable Major Dong and say this should be passed immediately. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Member for Bondo, the Honorable Ochanda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think the amendment is spot on. It's really spot on. Those of us who have been here a little bit longer in this country will remember that up to 1987, there was quite a bit of order in terms of training progression in this country. And that was more so in relation to that older system, like the A-level system, where when you are in a secondary school, there was what we used to call career books. In Form 4 or Form 3, you are indicated to that now when you get to Form 4, if you get to reach here as your highest level, these are the areas where you can get to. When you get to A-level, Form 6, these are the areas where you can get to. And when you pass Form 6, this is for the purposes of the university. I think there was some good order in terms of training progression. The only thing that was lacking at that particular time was if you cleared Form 6 A-level and you get to a diploma, like those who are going to what we're calling the national polytechnics, they didn't have any other level other than that. That was like the end. I think that was the little gap that was there in that system at that particular time. If that gets to be cured, and I think that's exactly what this bill is intending to do, if it cures that, the chances are that we'll be doing quite a bit to the issue of career progression and issues of specialization. Mr. Speaker, there's the whole issue of human resource placement. Why do we want to have a professor getting to teach class 8 in a university for purpose of issuing a certificate for 3 weeks? I think this is where there's a big problem. This developed to a direction where universities were now just trying to raise money from all manner of things. And they got a soft spot in the name of intaking, courses, intaking, certificate, intaking, diploma for purpose of raising money. And I think this is where we went wrong. The university, there's no need of somebody who has been a professor training people in masters, training undergraduate courses, coming down to start training somebody in class 8 in governance, for example, because there was this fallacy that MCAs and all this kind of group of people had to go to the university for them to get certificates and those kind of stuff. So they ended up, university started racing towards those directions, and I think it is not right, particularly when this idea of parallel arrangements came in. So there's a parallel degree makes sense, but then when you come in with all these kind of private engagements, private entries for certificate, for diploma, I think it doesn't make sense, and it really indicates that universities were not doing the right thing. I think the university needs to be respected in terms of what they churn out. I don't think a university can be proud of churning out class 8s who are doing certificate in some small kind of courses. Mr. Speaker, I think this is something that the bill is trying to look at and is important. The other area is the issue of specialization. Like what happened before the 87 that I'm talking about. If you are a teacher, you ended up at A level, you ended up at Form 6 and not going to the university, you were very clear you were going to Kenya Science for purposes of science teaching course in education. If you are in Form 4, you were very sure you were going to Ahiti if that was your ended, if that's where you ended. You were going to Ahiti Kabete, Ahiti Yembu and all these guys. They were very clear. But then when we started changing all these things into universities, all our national polytechnics, which were there and were making a lot of sense by 1987, started being changed to universities. And then now we have too many universities, and then these other specialized arrangements are all dead. And now we are running around the issues of TVETs. I think this is something that is important to look at. I'm happy as a person in terms of how TVETs or TVETers are now handling their courses. Those who are like grade 8 or whatever, Form 4 and stuff like that, when they get there, there are areas now that they work on. Like 3 months, you are trained on that area. Even if it's plumbing, there are aspects of plumbing that you are trained on. You accumulate them over a period of time is when you are given a certificate or a diploma. And I think that makes a lot of sense. So the universities needs to get out of this idea of certificates and diplomas so that the right institutions that are supposed to give certificates and diplomas are given their space to do that. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Said the member for Kinango, the Honorable Thuku Kwenya.
Thank you, Speaker, for this opportunity to make my contribution to this bill that has been proposed by the member for Embakasi Central. And Mr. Speaker, I want in a special way just to recognize his efforts. But however, I want to disagree or to oppose this bill. The reason as to why I take this position from the onset is because we must look at what is the practice in the world over, so that then we do not reinvent the wheel. Mr. Speaker, universities have specialized curriculum. And we must also be cognizant of the fact that we are moving from 844 system to CBE, curriculum-based education. And we have a laid infrastructure in the universities that we have, both public and private universities. And we must interrogate the reason as to why courses that are certificate and diploma in nature were introduced in those universities, Mr. Speaker. And with that kind of thinking, we must be cognizant of the fact that there are some courses that are offered in those universities that cannot be offered in TVETs. And indeed, if we are going to do away with certificate and diploma courses in our universities, then we must do the cost effect, the effect as to what is going to happen to our learning institutions that have heavily invested in their monies in such courses. You realize courses like engineering, Mr. Speaker, if you just take a tour to a university like University of Nairobi and see the kind of infrastructure that they have, and the reason as to why then we must encourage that diploma courses, some of these diploma courses be done in universities, it is because of the capacity that they have. Students may not have the requisite grades to join universities to do engineering, bachelors of engineering, but they can start from a certificate, then upgrade to diploma and eventually to degrees as a bill envisages, so that then they learn from the laid down infrastructure, bottom up to the highest level. And Mr. Speaker, not unless we want to collapse education system in this country and actually even deal a blow to private universities which are heavily training in the area of certificates and diplomas, then we must answer difficult questions. Mr. Speaker, there are also specialized certifications that are done by universities. Professional trainings whereby they offer certificates, to some extent, higher national diplomas and such. We must interrogate deeper, because I think this bill, from what I have heard from the member and the reading of the same, has its hollow and shallow kind of research that has been done. As much as I agree that university education should basically be much on research, I mean, before then, and because we have infrastructure, there are those who have the capacity just to do research and to...
So do they offer this diploma or certificate because of order? Order.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Do they offer this because they have infrastructure to offer them, or they have huge infrastructure that's now not being used and therefore they're looking for a chance of getting money?
It is not just about monetary issue, Mr. Speaker. You know, they have capacity that...
Order, the Honorable Dawood.
Mr. Speaker, the honorable member...
What is out of order?
He said that there are courses which universities are offering in diploma and certificates which the TVET institutions are not offering. I would want him to name which courses are those.
But that's not a point of order, of course.
Thank you,
that's
Speaker.
Not a point of order, of course. But Honorable Tuku, you hear his request for information?
Yes, I hear, Mr. Speaker. In fact, in terms of capacity, I'm not talking about infrastructure so that then they can act as if they're just rent-seeking. I'm talking of infrastructure in the sense that it may be underutilized, because basically university education is more on research. But as such, they have infrastructure that can be used to train low-key engineers. All we should be asking is to have an examining body that examines those students who are in the university and those that are in TVET within the same standards. So that then we do not have students who are examined through university, the regular university examinations, and now TVET having their own kind of examining body as it is today. But indeed, we cannot, in fact, as members of parliament sit here to destroy an existing infrastructure that has been laid by especially private universities. Because if we do that, then not unless then we proceed with what has been happening in the past, whereby private universities will be admitting students from regular, that are funded by the government, so to speak. If that does not happen, then we are going to have so many private universities closing shop, and of course, which is not good for this country. I oppose this bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for also giving me an opportunity to contribute to this bill by Honorable Major Dong, Embakasi Central. Mr. Speaker, looking at the amendments which are supposed to be carried out, I was listening and wondering who is complaining. Where is the problem? Because, Mr. Speaker, universities are created, the creation of a university is different from TVET. And they are totally different entities, but the ultimate goal they do is they train. Mr. Speaker, practice all over the world, in America, in Australia, even in our neighboring countries here in Africa, like South Africa, it is a practice that universities are autonomous. Whatever they decide to offer is based on backgrounds, research and such, and come up with a program which they feel a university can offer, and likewise to TVET. So sometimes even certificate courses act as preparatory grounds for some programs which are offered in the university. So who is complaining? And besides, I look at one of the amendments which is supposed to be done on this bill, Mr. Speaker, about it's about the leadership, governance in universities, that it is going to prohibit chancellors from presiding over award of certificates in universities. Mr. Speaker, universities are run in a very specific way. Certificate courses are offered at the level of faculties, and the certificates are awarded at the level of the faculty, not the chancellor. So there are totally different operations going on there. And Mr. Speaker, there are programs which, universities do linkages. They sign MOUs with institutions outside Kenya, other international universities. And sometimes the request is based on certificate courses, certificate programs which are being done in their mother universities. So what happens if they come to Kenya and realize that in universities, University of Nairobi doesn't have a provision for such programs? So do you want to tell us that those relations are going to be severed? So as long as no one is complaining, as long as these universities are doing what is supposed to be done, and they are graduating students, quality students, why should we sit and, as members of parliament, decide to curtail them from offering these programs? Sometimes we have universities in far-flung areas where there are no other institutions. What will happen to equipment which has been invested? Will they just stay idle because we cannot offer certificate courses because the university, we have amended the University Act and deny them to do so? Mr. Speaker, I think I worked in the university for 20 years, and I can confidently stand here and say I have taught PhD students, I've taught master students, I've graduated undergraduates. I've also participated in the mentorship of students taking certificates, and there is no problem. I don't see any.
Just a simple question on this, because you're an expert in this issue. What happens, for example, if tomorrow Moi University, the medical school university, started offering diploma in all the courses offered by the KMTC today? What happens if tomorrow the Kenya School of University School of Medicine decided that we are going to be offering diploma in all the courses being offered by KMTCs? What happens tomorrow if all the universities decided that they're going to offer all those courses being offered by the teachers' colleges in the country will now be offered at the universities, because nothing stops them? What happens in those situations?
Okay, Mr. Speaker, we are saying that every institution should be, universities should have autonomy the way they are doing. It's not that they are going to offer all the courses and lock out everyone. Every institution should have its share. It's the students should be given freedom to choose. If I want to go and do a diploma in Kenya Medical College, for instance, and another university like Moi University is offering the same, the students should be given freedom to decide, do I want to go to KMTC or do I want to go to Moi University to do the same course? At the end of it all, the end game is we are training somebody to be a nurse or to be a doctor or whatever. And that is diploma. The same student can still progress and do a degree, a postgraduate diploma or a master's and so on. So what we are looking at here is autonomy. We shouldn't now curtail our students and say, because you want to do a certificate course, you can only do in TVET A or in this college, but you can't do it in a university. If a university is offering and it is doing well and the student is interested, so why not? Why should we curtail ourselves? Students of today are impatient and they have options. So when you want to box them to start thinking along one dimension and say, for me to do a certificate course, I must only go to a college which offers certificate. For me to do this, and sometimes
some students like, sometimes it is better to do it progressively. Like I can go to university A, start with certificate, progress, because I know I'll get exemption in some courses because I did them in diploma. I can do it progressively. So, Mr. Speaker, I strongly oppose this bill because I feel going this way is going to, institutions are supposed to be autonomous. Universities are supposed to be autonomous. We have, the way they do their programs, the way they look at their curriculum, they look at it progressively. What is offered at diploma, at certificate, and degree, and postgraduate are not the same. We don't need to strangle them at this level. We have invested so much in our universities. We have just begun expanding the TVET. Let us give them time to evolve before we make a decision and say, now, universities, you do your business, TVETs, you do your business, Kenya Medical Training Colleges, you go different directions. Let's look at education in a perspective which we don't deny others an opportunity to be what they are. Egerton University, for instance, had been a very good example of an agricultural college. It grew from a college training, a college agriculture, all the way to be a university, a public university. We cannot deny them to still offer certificates courses in agriculture because they have the equipment, they have the expertise, they are the people and we shouldn't be worried about a professor teaching a diploma. Why should we, or a certificate? A student should benefit from the expertise. And these professors don't just go and teach, they mentor. They are not going, the lecturers who teach the certificates are being mentored by the professors. The curriculum is being oversighted by a professor. So we shouldn't just close shop and say now we migrate to certificate and then we relegate to colleges, and then when you start with we migrate to the university, we offer diploma, degree, masters and postgraduate. So for me, I oppose the bill.
Before the Honorable Nikal, we got students from Kui Secondary School in Baringo North, Baringo County. They are welcomed for the proceedings this afternoon. The Honorable Nikal, as you do this, also do the honors of welcoming students to us first in the public gallery.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity first to welcome the students who have come to visit this house. I think they have come at the very right moment when we are discussing a very important point on the education, certificate level, diploma level university, and I think it gives them the opportunity to understand how we operate and also to sharpen their ambition so that they realize that one of these days they may themselves be actually sitting here and making these decisions. That's an important experience for them. So we welcome all of them and wish them a good stay in the town and their trip back. Mr. Speaker, having said that, I want to discuss basic issues regarding this bill. In principle, I support the bill. But it actually raises a more fundamental issue than we are discussing here. What has surprised me is that the majority of us do not really understand or believe in the mandate of a university. The mandate of a university, in my mind, is not teaching. That's not mandate number one. It is not even training. That is, in my view, is not mandate number one. The mandate of university is actually to search new knowledge. Professors who have been at the university will tell you, you will never progress in a university if you do not do research. Publish or perish. So what universities are supposed to do is to get new knowledge, to do research and find out how the world works. Countries, Western worlds that are powerful, they're not powerful because of their politics and the way they do. The main thing is that their knowledge of how the world works, particularly in the world of science. It's not possible to go into another country and pick the president just by political power or just by force. You need extreme knowledge of how things happen. So universities are supposed to produce knowledge through research. The second one, in my view, is dissemination of that knowledge. And it is this dissemination where actually training comes in my view, as a third one. So, but you then want to train people at a level where they'll be able to participate in research that is key in survival in this world. We are not doing well in these parts of the world because we do not put emphasis in research and even finance it. Now, if university then see themselves as training institutions and start training at any level, at degree level, at diploma level, at certificate level, then eventually they have actually lost the biggest mandate that they have, the mandate of research and leading us on how the world works, new knowledge. So I support the bill to that extent, so that let them disseminate the knowledge at a level of degrees and postgraduate diploma and so on. In my view, I wouldn't even have accepted the postgraduate diploma and postgraduate certificate. I would have left it at degree level, because at that level, you are not just going to really, you may apply, but you ask why, not how. At technical level, when you are dealing with the level at vocational level, you are asking how. Mr. Speaker, just give me a little time. You know, we have had a situation, let me use engineering, where we have reached a point.
You still have 5.5 minutes. So
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, we have a situation in this country where people sometimes do not know how to distinguish the difference between, say, an engineer and the diploma technologies. And sometimes you hear that people are saying that these universities are producing engineers that do not, when they go into the market, they do not perform. The question is, the industry is looking for technologies, the diploma guys, to do the things. What an engineer is supposed to do, Mr. Speaker, let's start with the science itself. The PhD guys and above, they are supposed to do research, get new ideas. And when they get those ideas, then you need, say, engineers who can say, if that is the idea, if you pass light through a glass, it bends the light. How can we use that to create products? It is at that time when you will need the technologies actually to now say, okay, if the engineer designed that, now I can use that, we can use that to produce a product. And when that product has been produced, then you now put it actually at the level of the factory where then it produces en masse. That is why people say these engineers from Nairobi University are not good, we have retrained them. They are not retraining them, they are reducing them from engineers to technical people. Because they are looking for technical people, but they are picking engineers. So that is the distinction we must clear. And there should be a ratio. I'm going to use engineering, but it can be the same. When you have engineers, there should be a ratio of the number of engineers in the country and the number of technologists and technicians in the country. So the scientists have the ideas. The engineers use that idea to design a product. The technologists produce the product. The technicians then fix and repair those products. That is the order in which things are working. But when you start producing in large numbers, where you don't, engineers and the technicians are all mixed up, we have a problem. We have a problem. So to me, I think time is coming that now let university do its role. Mandate number one, research. Get us new knowledge. Why things are happening. Why people die with floods in Nairobi. This is something was noted in 1906 when the medical officer actually said that the way Nairobi is situated, it will have floods, it will have epidemics, and people will die. Nobody listened. Actually, that guy wanted Nairobi to be transferred up to Kikuyu. So that information, then the degree people then design, then the technology. So we must have that idea is when things will work. So in my view, I support it in that context so that the universities can do what their job is. Again, when you then have, when then you come to training technologies, there also must be a link, as I said, there must be a ratio, so that what is done at the university level finds application at the TVET level. These are now the people who are actually applying that knowledge for its everyday use. So that is why you want TVETs in every place, because that is everyday use. You do installations and repairs. Installations and repairs are not the work of engineers, if I use that. So we really must have that distinction. So the other thing then comes is then people are now looking to raise funds. Again, because we don't fund our institutions. So when people are looking to raise funds, they start actually taking people in, not because of their mandate, but because they want to raise funds. As you asked, we have a problem in this country, for example. I'll give you an example, where universities now have designed a course, say, for clinical officers, where we have Bachelor of Science in medicine and surgery. Then that is a clinical officer. Then now you have Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery, and that is a doctor. I've never understood how in the world you are going to distinguish those two people. Because the universities are not sticking to their roles. And therefore, they are now training, they are training courses. It then will bring another issue. If you see the amendment of Clause 5 and Clause 5A, it will bring an issue of then distinguishing which is which within the country and which is which when they come from outside the country. And the third issue we'll have is the issue of regulation. Now, we have a situation in this country where universities now, because of the Commission of University in Section 5, actually provides that universities can design the programs and train people without reference to regulatory authorities. So you find the engineering board is asking, these people, you train them, we didn't see the curriculum, we didn't see their training, can we register them?
We'll give you 1 minute more.
Can we then register them as technologists or certificate people? Because we didn't link that with the regulatory authorities. So this bill, actually, I support it, but we will actually need to do a lot of amendments, because remember last week, the issue was coming here, of the conflict between the universities and MTC training. You remember the speaker said we should go and find a solution. This is part of that. So I support, Mr. Speaker, that we should have a clear distinction, but I think we'll have to have a lot of amendments. It may give us opportunity to actually address many other issues of training and regulation, particularly in technical areas. With that, Mr. Speaker, I support.
I see the member for Parliament for Siaya, but this is the order I have here. That the member speaking next is member for Bureti, then member for Malava, then the one for Gichugu, then the one for Siaya, then the one for Turkana East, the one for Nyeri, then the one for Keses, in that order. So go ahead, Honorable.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. In standing this morning about this bill, it brings to question so many things that affect our education sector in our country. So today I stand in the crossroads whether to support Major Dong on this question of separation, the Honorable Major Dong, or to make proposals for improving this bill so that it may take care of some of the generic issues and the pertinent issues that have arisen in form of discussion and in form of the
conceptual framework through which our universities and our TVET institutions have been established. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Nyikala has placed it so well that our university's core mandate is advancing knowledge through probably teaching, training, but also research and innovation. While our TVET institutions is to promote industry-relevant training so that they can be able to implement the things that do arise out of all these things. And Honorable Speaker, there is a thought that Honorable Majadong has brought through, that our universities, in exercising its mandate, went overboard in its commercialization to be able to do everything that they think that they can be able to do. And that's where, personally, I have an issue and a problem. The question, therefore, that arises about our universities is the university the place to do all these things? Probably yes. But is the university the only place that can do these things? Then no. Our TVET institutions and all other colleges that may arise can arise on the question of being able to make sure that the industries thrive. Honorable Speaker, you may be aware about the conflicts that have arisen within our education sector. As we stand today, some sectors of our education have been classified outside the education system. KMTC do not receive help loans because they are not considered by the Ministry of Education as part of the establishment within itself. Kenya Institute of Higher Education is not considered, Kenya Institute of Highway Building and Technology, a department, a college within the Roads Ministry, is not considered by the Ministry of Education and therefore cannot pay for the students within those departments. KMTCs is considered as a health education facility and not an education facility. These things, we must come to the place where we will have to either link them or be able to separate them for the purposes of running this institution. Honorable Speaker, you would be able to know that in this country, the professional and regulatory bodies that register now the professionals that come through these bodies have been separated also from the education institutions that provides the training. So the question I'm asking myself is, and this is what I'm going to discuss probably with Majadong, Honorable Majadong, is to be able to clarify these points. I agree that universities will do the training and probably advance education. But where is its application in our TVETs? Or where is its application in the lower levels of artisanship for us to be able to say that now we have a comprehensive outlook both of education, training, and application of this knowledge in the industry? Probably there could be other interlinkages that can come through so that we can be able to link our universities with the TVETs so that we can have a relationship with those two institutions and create MOUs. Then the question that I also have is, where will we put specific industry colleges like Bandari Maritime College? Or where will we put Defense College for that purpose in this case that offers both certificate and degree courses? They are not classified under universities because they are not under the Universities Act of 2012. And they are neither also operating under the TVET authority. And therefore, they are not part of what we are calling the TVET authority. They are in themselves autonomous, providing sector-specific training and sector-specific application of that knowledge. What I'm calling on, Mr. Speaker, today is that there must be new thinking within our education system. And we have the opportunity from the time that we had the Presidential Task Force on Education System to be able to now look through from the certificate courses, the diploma courses, the degree courses, and the higher levels of degree so that we can be able to see how, as a nation, we are able to produce that which our market needs. And we are able to make sure that the education investment that we are making as a nation is not only benefiting us to look into the future of innovation, into the future through research, into the future through the work that they do in the universities, but also to make sure that this knowledge is applicable and relevant to the market and make sure that they are there. Finally, Honorable Speaker, I think we need also to speak to the infrastructure development within our TVET institutions. So much has been done by this regime, the Kenya Kwanza regime, in the promotion of these middle-level colleges. But what we hear from the ground is the support that is provided to this institution is minimal. The college that is within my constituency, Bureti National Polytechnic, they're telling us the capitation for students within these TVET institutions is not coming on time. And therefore, we end up crippling these very institutions that we want to promote for us to be able to bridge the gap between the industry and the academia. We want to ask the government, and I particularly want to call upon the Ministry of Education, to look at each and every institution independent of each other for us to be able to promote not only local knowledge, but also universal knowledge for the general application in the country. There are sectors, there are universities that were created to cover and to plug the gap within certain sectors of our economy. Egerton University was an agricultural university until by its commercialization mutated into something else. Eldoret University was a technology university. So was JKUAT. But the questions now that we have not been able to cap these things, we have seen universities marry-bound into areas that they do not even have expertise, or into areas they do not have core competences to be able to train. And therefore the country suffers because we have followed the philosophy of where the money is, or the philosophy of where we'll get the students, and the capitation system that does not seem to recognize the amount that we need to invest in these institutions. So, Honorable Speaker, with this broad thinking, I think for now I support the motion, the bill that is before us, but will propose amendments with particular focus on making sure that there is coherence in our education sector, that our education should be streamlined to provide solutions not only to Kenyan problems, but also regional problems. But our universities must remain training institutions and also research institutions to provide us with future knowledge that we may require in new enterprises that may come through, or advancing our knowledge through the work that they do in the universities. Honorable Speaker, for now I support, but will propose amendments to this bill. Thank you.
Said, Honorable Ndakwa of Malava.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to support this university amendment bill brought by Mechandong of Embakasi Central. Mr. Speaker, looking at this bill, this law is meant to change and bring the equality, and also with the current situation, Mr. Speaker, the Act will enhance governance, it will enhance funding structure, and also, Mr. Speaker, sir, it will give the quality of higher education in this country. Because of that, Mr. Speaker, I'm saying that this will stop the growth of poorly regulated institutions in this country. Mr. Speaker, the separation of universities and TVET roles should be streamlined, because whatever is being offered in accredited institutions. Mr. Speaker, sir, the offering of diploma from certificate to diploma by TVET, and again being offered in universities, is taught by the same teachers, same professors, people with the same career and professionals, which is giving equality in the education. Because education is the only equalizer that one can get in lifeline. Mr. Speaker, sir, to me, I support by saying that the accreditation of certificates to diploma taught in universities and that taught in TVET colleges should be accredited differently. If it is on a higher learning, further training and advanced professional skills, Mr. Speaker, it should be done by Commission of University Education. But for the lower, whereby we are crediting certificates to diploma done in universities and also done in TVETs, it should be given a body which is specifically meant for technical subjects, and that is TVETA. Mr. Speaker, sir, there can be discrimination whereby a body of university is crediting the certificates to diploma that has been accomplished through technical institution, unlike those that are accredited done in universities. Because, Mr. Speaker, there is also standards that are being measured during these learning processes. Mr. Speaker, I support this by saying that, Mr. Speaker, there's always duplication of learning in both institutions, whereby there is the standardized curriculum that is being offered in all institutions. It's like, Mr. Speaker, reading in Alliance High School, whereby the examination is being accredited by another body, unlike a student who is disadvantaged learning in a rural area in Malaba, like Pulupi Secondary School, being accredited by another body. There will be discrimination during the offering of career job opportunities, even in the lifeline of employment. Mr. Speaker, I support this by saying that accrediting with a common body like TVETA for technical subjects, it will give some measure of understanding and some measure of equity for those who have come from universities and for those who have come from technical colleges. And also it will give advantage for those who have come from higher institution of university, being given a leverage of having attained the skills in a higher standardized institution like university. Mr. Speaker, this one will have to give an improved skills for those who have trained in technical institution, because it is about competition on job market. Mr. Speaker, sir, it will strengthen the technical jobs being offered across the lifeline of people getting employment. And this also, Mr. Speaker, can reduce the degree congestion whereby one is being accredited in a higher institution to feel superior, unlike those who have been accredited in technical subjects. Universities should give accreditation through their own commission of education, of university education, on higher training, research, and when they are doing some innovation. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, sir, I'd like to say that where they are offering certificate, diplomas, and artisan courses in TVET or technical institution, they should have their body of accreditation, which is TVETA, unlike whereby the formation of Commission of Universities is accrediting to be a disadvantage to those who have come from technical institution. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, sir, we need to have the distinction between the two. Those who are offering certificate to diploma should have one accredited body, which is done by TVETA, and those who are doing higher research and innovation in universities should be credited through Commission of University Education, because they have their own curriculum and standard measure of learning. I support. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Githinji.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support this bill by Honorable Major Dong. And Honorable Speaker, I've been trying to peruse through the University Act And I can see there is also some deficiency in the definition of a university, because it only describes how to establish a university, but it doesn't describe. But I've gone further to look for a definition of a university, and the definition under the Cambridge Dictionary is: a university is an institution of higher education and research which grants academic degrees into bracket bachelor's, master's, and doctorate. It is usually larger than a college, often comprising several specialized schools, and focuses on both undergraduate studies and advanced specialized studies. That is the definition of a university, which definition is lacking in our act. Probably it's time we also think of amending the act so that we can define what is a university. And the reason I support is that there have been a mix-up of the courses that are being offered in universities currently. And the fact that universities also have financial challenges cannot be an excuse to allow them to offer diplomas and certificates under the Commission of University Education. And Honorable Speaker, there is no harm in universities also seeking to have a department, a separate department which offers certificates and diplomas, which should be under TVETA. But now when you mix them under the Commission of University Education, then that is where the problem is. And that is why this bill is very, very important, so that we don't make universities like commercial entities. They are institutions of learning, for people to be able to get undergraduate diplomas, undergraduate degrees, the masters, and even doctorate as defined in the dictionary. Honorable Speaker, the years I went to University of Nairobi, to be very frank, there were no diplomas offered in the University of Nairobi. There were only degrees, masters and doctorate degrees that were offered. Now, because the challenges, the financial challenges that universities have changed, probably because of mismanagement and other issues, have dragged universities to seek that they be accredited by the Commission of University Education to offer diplomas and also certificates. That is where the problem is. And I applaud the president of this country, who has been very keen on establishment of TVETs across all the constituencies in this republic. And I dare say that TVETs in this country are out of the brainchild of our beloved president, who was very instrumental in establishing the TVET in this country. And Honorable Speaker, this is where all those people who wants to do diplomas, we should incapacitate, we should capacity build these TVETs. Yeah? Instead of placing these resources to the universities, let us place them to the TVETs. Actually, they are even closer to the people. Yeah? Most of the students who are not able to go to the universities because probably they are far. Most of the universities are domiciled within the cities because that is where we have enough resources. That is where most of the people want to put business because that is where they can get a big population and people who are able. The TVETs have now come in handy so that those students who are not able to go far can be able to access diplomas, can be able to access those certificates at the local level. What we need to do is a deliberate effort to capacitate to build capacity within our TVET so that we can absorb all those people. Those are the people who also want to do business. It's their choice, but they have to be under TVET so that they can be able to operate their business wherever they want to operate. But we cannot make an excuse of turning universities to institutions of offering certificates and diplomas, which are also very crucial to our people. But let them remain for the purpose they were created initially, but not for business purposes. But, Honorable Speaker, I will further discuss with Honorable Benjamin Gadhiru. There are a few areas that we may need to panel beat at the Committee of the Whole to amend so that this bill can we can make it better for operationalization. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for that opportunity.
Honorable Mbaka.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. This is a bill that is very interesting, but also a very, it's a hard nut to crack. If you look at what universities are traditionally, they should offer courses that start from a degree level, master's and doctorate. That is what is known worldwide. But things have changed over time, and universities have faced a lot of economic problems. I was teaching at the university myself, and what I noticed was that many universities were offering courses that were going to serve the nation, but at the same time, they were trying to get some resources to run the universities. They did some, what we may call, income-generating activities. And when they offered certain courses at diploma level or certificate courses, these ones were run over the weekends or sometimes in the evening or during holidays. The intention was to address the nation's shortcomings. Those who did not get opportunity to go to school at the diploma level or certificate level were addressed. But at the same time, it was to make money. So here we are in a dilemma whether how does a university survive if there are no funds. They were not able to pay lecturers. They were not able to purchase books or run libraries. They really needed resources. And that is the way in which bringing in certain courses over the weekend and during holidays for diploma and certificate came to be. Now the dilemma is that we have so many TVETs in every sub-county in this country. So the problem is going to be how many students do we have that can fill all the TVET colleges that we have at the sub-county level? How many are left over that the university can also take at the diploma and diploma level? I think it's a matter of knowing how many students do we have that would want to do diploma and how many would want to do certificates and where. My next point is that there is always a relationship between a TVET and a university in the sense that when you do a diploma, you can still pursue your education at the university when you finish your diploma at the TVET level. You can now go for a degree, and it is cut down by 1 year. So you don't go for first year, you start in second year. So there's always a relationship between a TVET college and a university. You get a diploma at the TVET, but then you can pursue your degree later at a university. So that relationship is also very distinct and very commendable. I do not know where the war is here, but as I can recall what Professor Bateau was talking about, that every university is autonomous. You can pick, where is a war? What are we fighting over? When we have space at the TVET level, they can take students from there. If there's space at the university, why not? And also address the nation. So if you start cutting down and pigeonholing issues, then we are still going to run into trouble. The TVETs that we have are so many, yes, but they're also overcrowded. So let the universities run some of these diploma courses. And some diplomas are also supported by other universities. Like say, for example, in Maseno where I was, there were several diploma courses that were being offered in collaboration with another university in the United States or in UK. So a course is offered at Maseno, but that degree is going to be awarded by a university outside Maseno with a collaborating college or university. So those are some of the challenges that this bill is going to face, that we have many students, you want them to be pigeonholed in TVET only. But what if you have excess? Where will they go? Don't you allow universities to take them and train them so that we actually have everybody on board and everybody has a certificate or a diploma, whatever level it may be. So allow universities to go on with their diplomas and certificates because they collaborate with other universities. And that will actually prohibit them from progressing and doing various courses. There's a famous course that was known sometimes back in the 90s when HIV and AIDS was very rampant in this country. There was a course on certificate in HIV guidance and counseling. I can't get the phrasing of that particular course, but it was on HIV, project management, sometimes guidance and counseling. It was a certificate, and sometimes it was a diploma. It was offered at the university level, especially in the medical areas. Guidance and counseling, there was also issues of trauma management. All these were certificate courses offered at university level. I do not know whether our TVETs do have some of these courses. If they do, and these are courses that are relevant today, it would be wonderful for them to also offer them. But my biggest worry over this bill is that when you you segment what TVET colleges should teach and what universities should teach, we will leave out many students. Let that be a free area where a student can go to wherever he wants or she wants. If you want to do your diploma or you want to do your certificate at a university level and the university offers it, let it be. If a TVET offers it, let it be. And people also have their choices. There are those that will want to go to Nairobi University for a certificate course than to go to another TVET in his area to get the same certificate. So preferences is also here. So the challenge is we have a huge population that would like to take on certificate level and diploma. Let them be free to go to wherever they want, whether it's at TVET or at a college. That is my take for now. But this is a bill that is very challenging, that we must tread carefully because we have many issues at the university levels as to why they offer diploma, as to why they offer certificates. They collaborate with others from other countries, and that must be factored into this whole thing. Otherwise, I support the bill, but with the caution. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you. The Honorable Rahab Mukami. I think that's you, right?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support the amendments. Honorable Speaker, the bill is addressing fundamental structural issues within our education. That is CWEA and TVETA. Universities are established under the University Act 2012 as an institution of higher learning, but now they have expanded into offering certificate and diplomas, which is okay. We have no dispute with that. Here we have TVET. TVET, they are the vocational training. But when it comes to setting the exams, the universities, they are being oversighted by CWEA, but TVET, they are being authorized by TVETA. When it comes to setting the exams, TVETA, vocational training, they are doing exams from National Examination Council. But when it comes to universities, the commission is the one who is setting their exams. Now, here you can see there's a discrimination Honorable Speaker. Because, for example, if a child applies for a job, whichever company is recruiting, if the child go with a certificate from maybe Nairobi University, certificate or diploma, and another one come from Nyeri Technical, the one from Nairobi University will be given priority. So we need to harmonize. So, Honorable Speaker, because both of them are doing certificates and they are doing diplomas, why are they doing different exams? They should do the same exam. Now, university overseen by the Commission of University, and TVET is being overseen by the TVETA. There's a description there. There is a discrimination there also. So, Honorable Speaker, personally, I support the amendment. We should harmonize, and we should make sure that the children who are going to University of Nairobi, and the one who is going to St. Paul University, and the one who is going to Nyeri Technical, all of them should do the same exam and get the same certificate. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable, before I give to the member for cases, we have in the public gallery students from Wangaza Secondary School, Maragua constituency in Murang'a County, and students from Amangina University, Gatundu North in Kiambu County, and students from Kamili Secondary School, Roysambu, Nairobi County. They are welcome for the proceedings this afternoon, and I think I'll stand down and ask the member, the Honorable Sabina Chege, to welcome them, and take 3 minutes to make your contribution too.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity as I welcome the students in this house. Mr. Speaker, with special recognition of the students from both Maragua and Roysambu constituency. Mr. Speaker, and all the other students who are here, I hope they learned something. Mr. Speaker, I am torn in between this bill. As I stand to support Mr. Speaker, we might need to rethink about the amendment proposed. Mr. Speaker, initially, I think before the Kibaki government, we used to have institutions that could offer specific, training at that diploma and certificate level. We used to have the cooperative, which is now the cooperative university, which were institutions that were serious institutions that could offer a diploma and a certificate course and thoroughly could do a proper training. We had institutions like Utalii College. We had institutions like Kenya Institute of Management, where a student who starts with a certificate or a diploma, and then later, Mr. Speaker, would now join the university. But what happened, Mr. Speaker? We collapsed all these institutions, including the one that was the National Polytechnic. We made it the Technical University of Kenya. The one that was trading on cooperatives, we now made it a cooperatives university. And so on, Mr. Speaker, going all even to Pwani University, which was also a polytechnic and a technical institution. So as we propose this amendment, Mr. Speaker, yes, it is important that we have proper training where the universities focus on the degrees and master's or postgraduate degrees all the way to the research level, because universities basically are supposed to be research institutions. And I find it, Mr. Speaker, sometimes when universities offer the certificates, they don't give it the weight that is required or the attention as a technical institution would do so. But the big question we should be asking ourselves today, and I hope Honorable Major Dong, who is the mover of this amendment, could listen, is that do we then have enough institutions that can be able to give the various technical, the certificates and diplomas within this country? Mr. Speaker, as a former chair of Education Committee, we were there in formulation of the Commission on University of Education for the sole purpose of even harmonization, because we had difficulties, and especially in law, Mr. Speaker, and also in teaching, where our students could go to Uganda if they had less than even a C or a D, and then get trained as a teacher. But when they come in, TSC could only accept, especially the high school teachers, only a person who had C+ and above. The same case also with the law, but now it is harmonized, Mr. Speaker. And so we need to relook at this amendment, Honorable Major Dong, and ask ourselves, would it be doing good to our students, or is it going to be doing more harm to the students who would want to do certificates or who would want to do the diplomas? I hear my colleagues, because they have said, yes, sometimes there's discrimination. If I go with a diploma or a certificate from Nairobi University and another one from another technical institution, the one from university tend to be given a heavier, weight. So I was just explaining to my colleague here, Honorable Amudende, and he's learning very well and very fast, Mr. Speaker, that it is important that we have a clear pathway such that whether one got a D or you got a C, that if you start from the lowest level of that, and we see determination, whether you start from the lowest level, you do a certificate, you do a diploma, then you can be able to get a chance now to join university. And we have seen people who didn't do very well at Form 4, but have gone all the way to do a doctorate. And sometimes you'll find there's, sometimes they would ask, why are you doing a doctorate and you got a D or a C when you're doing your Form 4 exams? But that is not the final. It is not supposed to be like the determinant on your career path, Mr. Speaker. So, Honorable Major Dong, as we support this amendment, as we go for the Committee of the Whole House, we might need to see how we make sure that we don't discriminate, but at the same time, we are able to have a clear pathway so that from certificate to diploma, then we can now go to the university. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity, and I support.
Member for Cases.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for according me this opportunity to also weigh my observation on this particular amendment bill that is sponsored by Honorable Major Dong. And on that, I want to appreciate him for demonstrating proper leadership and sensitivity to the issues pertaining our higher education. Mr. Speaker, looking at this bill, it also, to my side, it gives a two-way of approaching it. But majorly, guided by Article 43, where I stand from, of our Constitution, which is a supreme law of the land, where it has given a chapter on human rights, on the rights for all Kenyans, starting from access to affordable health care, housing. Sub-Article 1F speaks about access to education. And it stops there, that every Kenyan, from what corner, from what geological and geographical location, has a right to access to education. And then what is the definition of education? Of course, education is acquiring knowledge by all standards, whether certificate, whether diploma, whether degree, is acquiring knowledge, understanding the livelihood and how to manage our lives. And for that purpose, why did universities end up establishing part of training far beyond the degree? Most of these are informed by the needs, because universities are established to address the needs of the society. Their main function and goal of university through research, training, is for the purpose of providing solutions to the population. We have universities like the University of Technology and Agriculture at the University of Egerton, that is university specified on technology and agriculture. We have also Jomo Kenyatta. We also have more universities. Most of those universities were established for the purpose of focusing on then the main critical economic backbone of the country, the agriculture. And since that time, they have established over time experience and equipment that are put in place. This knowledge is not only meant for the high level of education. It's not only meant for the degree. Who is going down there to look at that farmer? We need an extension officer. We need a person who can supervise on that ground. We need a specialized person to address the issue of livestock down there. Most of these other level of training are focusing on administrative level. But who is there practically on the ground? To me, I want to say that we should not deny universities. And mark you, universities are run by independent charters. Every university was established by an independent charter. And the fact that we have a professor there who is able to inculcate, who is able to transfer knowledge to a student, either in degree or in master's, nothing stops this professor by going down to the level where a farmer is, by going down to where the population is. And for this purpose, we just need to be guided by the Statute Law Amendments Act of 2012, which gave in to this one, because needs are different.
An area like Nairobi, an area that is advanced, of course might have advantage and privilege of having a university, of having access to training colleges, or put for diploma, put for certificates. What of areas like Turkana, that we only know now of the University of Turkana? Are we aware that far in the large county of Turkana, whether we have these other colleges? But if the University of Turkana can see the need of those people and offer courses, life-saving, like in Lake Turkana, a livelihood of fishing, fish management in Lake Turkana, which is an economical need support of those people. Why should we deny an opportunity to that facility that has resources to be able to bring equipment, to bring education, and even to connect that population to outside world, like the country in Namibia, where they're specialized on issues to do with fish? I mean, what is the problem about that? So what we are saying is that, yes, we know some universities are gone far.
I'm just curious, on the same argument, why should we then deny TVET from offering degrees?
Well, of course, the other technical colleges are limited by the aspect of universities are guided by the University Act, which has given the sole mandate to offer degrees. But what we are saying beyond degrees, is degrees enough? Can it provide solutions? That's what I'm saying. The spirit behind this amendment law, or miscellaneous amendment law of statute of 2012, had looked at those gaps. Yes, we know the government of Kenya has been promoting establishment of different institutions in every constituency. But we have constituencies that are bigger than even, they are larger than some counties. Look at, as I've said, let's go back to Article 43. Article 43 has said that every Kenyan has a right to education. And so, Mr. Speaker, I want to say, let us be careful on the kind of the laws that we are amending so that we don't lock out other Kenyans from accessing this basic need and allow. I remember these are public institutions that are established with taxpayers' money. So let us not lock out other Kenyans, those who could have obtained a privilege or an advantage of that only sole institution. Last week, when we were burying our colleague, may he so rest in peace, Joanna Ngeno, the people of Emurua Digiri, who are asking the president for a university, if you look at the kind of livelihood those people are going through, the uptake poverty those people are going through, that institution, even if it is put there, it may not support that local population. It will support other population who are well capacitated enough in terms of basic education to attain university level. What about those populations within the narrow county in that sub-end? And there is no any other college within there. So, Mr. Speaker, what I'm trying to say is that let us be cognizant and sensitive to the fact that we are putting this to support our population. And I want to oppose this particular amendment on that context and say that unless we're able to look at in a better approach where we need to cap the aspect of universities that have gone spree to run business as opposed to giving out education. Because other universities have gone fully commercial on looking at every Tom and Jerry around, picking everything as to ensure that they're able to put a population, run business for profiteer, and even at times we don't know where they're putting this money. We just need to be sensitive enough to look at that charter. Let every university stick to their own charter. And every faculty in every institution be guided by the Senate and the charter so that whatever they want to offer far beyond, it should be justified in the context of the focus of the university. And for that, I want to oppose this particular amendment. Thank you.
Thank you. The minority whip.
Thank you.
Those who are carrying their hands now, we got 5 minutes to go. I've just given the minority whip a chance to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Perhaps they are carrying.
Sorry. This bill still has an hour on it. Next time is on the order paper.
Mr. Speaker, maybe you are not understanding. Maybe they are carrying their hands that they are the minority whips.
No, they are not, because I know who the minority whip is. So this bill still has an hour on it, I think. So those who don't get a chance this afternoon, please, you'll get a chance next time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I'm fairly reluctant to support this bill. And the reason I'm reluctant to support it is because I don't feel sufficiently convinced from what I've seen in the bill and even from the committee report. Mr. Speaker, whenever one seeks an amendment to an existing law, there must be a mischief that one is trying to address or redress. There must be a gap, there must be a lacuna. And when I'm looking at the arguments that are being proffered, Mr. Speaker, they look more like administrative gaps and hiccups. We are talking about two entities
that allow for registration. We are talking about the university one and the one for diplomas, and we are saying it creates confusion. If it creates confusion, then administratively deal with the confusion. So for me, I don't think that every time we have a hurdle, we bring an amendment to deal with that hurdle. When there's a hurdle, perhaps the people who are in those institutions are not working, just remove them and put people who can work. So for me, I'm not really convinced. I don't normally like challenging when a member has gone out of their way to bring an amendment, so I will not outright oppose. But I would wish that they have more, grounds for convincing me, for instance. Mr. Speaker, one of the things that I was hoping to see is what is international best practice. And when I'm seated here, because now we are actually in a digital era, you can actually see, I've Googled some of the most prominent universities, Oxford University, my university, New York University, Nairobi University, even if I leave the Kenyan ones here. But I've Googled international universities, Harvard University. And even though Harvard, they put it differently, but they offer certificate courses. They may not offer these diploma courses as we know it in Kenya, but they do offer certificate courses. And Oxford does offer, those diploma courses. So what I would want to ask is, what experience do we have from other international successful universities? And I don't see that in the report of the committee, because whenever you wish to change a practice that has been here for a long time, there has to be very good grounds for doing that. And Mr. Speaker, only recently we established a TTI in Suba North, in Waondo area. And Mr. Speaker, we are overwhelmed by the numbers. The students that are just registering are overwhelming. I am hoping that we can do yet another one in Rusinga Island because of the numbers that have shown up. We have a lower level one at Mfangano Island, which we are also seeking to have upgraded as an island. But the numbers are really there. So I think this, TTIs and whatever, the TVETs can actually run, but it doesn't have to stop the universities for offering specialized courses that are in line with some of the areas that they have expertise on. Maybe the TVETs may not have
there was an issue earlier that, for example, when an issue arose that for you to run for MCA, you must have a degree. Some universities set up a dubious course called Diploma in Leadership. How specialized is that?
Mr. Speaker, one of the things you can do, but you actually need a diploma in leadership. I'm actually currently doing my PhD in leadership and governance. Mr. Speaker, why we need that is because we have a dearth of leadership in this country. We have a dearth of good leadership in this country. And perhaps we need to be taught again about that. But Mr. Speaker, it actually speaks to the issue of accreditation. And it goes back to what I was saying, that if it is the accrediting authority that is accrediting courses that we may not understand or which we don't make sense to us, then we actually should be going back to the accrediting agencies and ask them why or what sense does this make? But it can't go to the fact that then we kill the universities' courses. Perhaps it just means that at the level the universities are getting accreditation, somebody slept on their jobs. There are universities that are offering diplomas in ICTs, areas in skills that actually maybe those lower level colleges may not be able to offer because they don't have the same equipment and facilities. So for me, I'm not really convinced. I will not oppose, but I would want to request the mover to really think about it, and even the committee. I wish they would have given us international best practices in relation to this. But otherwise, it's not very, very convincing. I wish we had talked more about how do we ensure that even in the colleges that I'm talking about, the tertiary level, there are more women involved. There are more courses dealing with young women, and more courses that relate to technology, because that's actually the way the world is going. So for me, that would be more like what I'd want us to talk about. How would we then incorporate things that deal with the specific areas? Like I would wish to see, and which I'm very glad that our TTI is already partnering to see how they do on fisheries, because that's our mainstay. So that people can have expertise on in situ and ex situ fishing, instead of just having, on spacecraft, and we'll never do anything with spacecraft. But we have things that relate to our day-to-day living. I must say I'm very impressed that the other day I passed there, I found that a wall had been built, a beautiful wall around the institution. And it's done by the students, because it's life skills that they have learned there. But that doesn't stop the university from doing diplomas, which are stepping stones, to the university, to courses that they offer as a university. And perhaps with the university, you have your own styles, you have your own skills. So you are hoping that a person who has done a diploma would therefore then be able to move on to your same university with the same style and same skills. So I will not oppose, but I'm not convinced either. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you so much. Honorable members, still a balance of 1 hour and 5 minutes on this bill. So you will get a chance to contribute next time it's slotted in the order paper. Time now being 1:03. This House is adjourned until today, Wednesday afternoon, 2:30 p.m.